two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. I'm your host, 30 and Still Gaming, and joining me each and every single week is my brother. What's going on, Sarge?
I don't know. Is the top of my head being cut off? Do I need to readjust my chair?
Oh no, I can fix you. I can fix you.
So otherwise, I'll readjust my chair.
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year,
everybody!
It's the 10th season of Generation X Gaming, episode 377. Yes, we have been doing this for 10 seasons. Well, 9 seasons. We're starting 10. So, we're starting 10. So, good evening. What's going on, Dave Rose, Gaming Fire, Eclipse, Wonder Rose? How's everyone doing? On today's show, we're going to be talking, we're not going to get to, we could get to all these topics, but the topics that are on the docket tonight is that Jack Black is rumored to be playing Steve in Minecraft. We'll talk about that. Everything we know so far about Star Wars Outlaws. We're talking about Doom Dev reportedly working on a Star Wars Mandalorian game for Xbox. We're going to talk about the Xbox Series S poster. That's right, poster. Star Citizen. We're going to talk about how they have a bundle that's a lot of money. We're going to talk about that. We're talking about Horizon. We're going to talk about Steamboat Willie. We're going to talk about the developer direct that could happen or might happen at the end of this month. We're going to talk about Tetris. A record just got broken or beaten after 34 years. We're going to talk about the Finals Battle Pass. We're going to talk about Monster Hunter World. We're going to talk about video games being at $100. And we're going to talk about a game license, official license to continue an old MMO from the early 2000s, and whatever else we bring up on this show. So Generation X Gaming, weekly podcast, like I said, is brings up a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. If you like to watch us, we're here live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30NSG. If you like to watch past broadcasts, you also can watch it here on 30NSG, or you can go to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm to listen to the audio, and then I will be updating. We're like 4 episodes behind on the podcast, so I think we're at like 373 or 4 before the new year. So yeah, best time to be here is live right now. Also, at the end of the show, we're going to have a Q&A. Anyone that wants to. We're going to limit just to the members. Everyone can watch, but the members will be the only ones that can actually chat at the last like 15, 20 minutes or so, because I want to kind of give more value to members or whatnot, those of you that are members. So the whole show you can watch. No one's getting cut off from anything. But at the end, anybody that wants to ask a question or anything like that, we're going to leave it up to members, or open it up to members. So, Starge, how you been, man? How's the new year?
It's going.
It's going.
It's going. It's gonna be a slow start, but it's going.
I've well, I guess we could do what we've been playing, but I haven't played it yet. So actually, I just purchased right before the show went live. I saw it wasn't on sale, but it was a discounted price. It didn't say a sale. It just I was like, oh, $20. So I bought the Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed with all the DLCs that came out. It came out in October of 2022. I wanted to buy it when it first came out, but just didn't have time because I was playing other games or whatnot. And then it's been out for over a year. And then I saw it for $20 and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. I was like, I wanted to play it when it came out. It's a single player / co-op multiplayer game. Obviously, you get matchmake in the game to get like you could do like prop hunt type of stuff where it's the 4 Ghostbusters against the ghost. One person's the ghost. The other 4 guys are Ghostbusters. You're trying to capture them. So that's one of the game modes. But there's a single player story / co-op story / you can play with like NPCs and go through an actual story. No, it's not the VR one, Rose. It's not the VR one. It's the one that's on. I'm probably gonna pick up the VR one as well, just not right now. But it's the one that's on the consoles. So I just picked it up. Haven't played it. but I'm interested in playing it. So, all right, let's get to what we've been playing. All right, Sarge. New year, new week, new month. What you been playing?
I mean, after Christmas, I think it was 2 days after that, they had the super sale for the
I think they
Microsoft
still
Store.
do. I think it's like on for like.
Oh,
Oh, it's
no,
over
it's
now.
over.
It's over.
Over. Start January 3rd. So I did a deep dive and I went through every line of everything that was on sale, and I had to basically talk myself out of the stuff I was trying to buy. Right? I thought about buying the Borderlands 3 game. It was like $7 or
Yeah.
$9 or something. And I was like, nope. I went through every game. The only thing that I got myself to actually buy, I said to myself, am I going to have time to play this? Will I have time to play this?
Right. That's
Right?
the biggest problem, right?
Right. That's basically what I'm doing. So the only one I bought is I bought the upgrade or the DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, the Necrom, because that was on sale for like, I think it was like $12
Yeah, it
or
goes on
something
sale
like
like
that.
2 times a year during Christmas and during summertime. So
So I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to play this probably for about a month or so. I said, so I picked that up. I said, and then I looked. I almost got Bee Simulator. I almost got a couple of simulator games. Like it's like $1.95, and I'm thinking to myself, it's
why?
$1.95.
Yeah, it's $1.95.
Why do you care? And I'm like, yeah, but it's $1.95, and you what? What moment in time? How bored are you going to be? Where like Bee Simulator is the choice, and then 45 minutes after that, like that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I almost pulled it. Well, I bought the $20 for Ghostbusters. There's another game that I never played, which was Dragon's Dogma, which I hear great things about, right? And Dragon Dogma 2 is coming out later this year, and I'm interested in it. But I don't want to buy the new one because I haven't played the old one. And the old one right now, 11 days to go, it's on sale for $3.49, right? That would be like an instant buy for everybody, I would think, right? For some reason, I haven't bought it yet because I don't know if I will have time, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but right now, if I buy that game for $3.49, I'm still playing through Starfield. I'm going through the main campaign of that, okay? So I don't know if I want to buy something else that's another 45, 50, 60-hour game that I don't have time to put into because Suicide Squad is coming out in what, like 24 days, 25 days? So I'm interested in that brand new game, and I look at it and go, if I'm paying $70 for a brand new game, I want to play that. I don't want to play a game I paid $3.49 for because that's just the backlog. So I'm thinking about picking it up and then just putting it on the shelf, the virtual shelf, because it's not a physical copy. So I don't know. Lorker says, do it. Old games don't age well. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. They don't age well.
It depends. It depends on how old you are, how much you love the game.
Yeah, but I never played it. So would it
be dated to you? Is it dated to you?
Right. Would it be dated for me? I don't know. I haven't played it.
I mean, over the break, I grinded out some Division 2 for about 3 days since the Christmas break started. And I was going for like some of the new gear pieces, and some of the build pieces they have on there are actually pretty good. There's this collector's backpack, and the abilities on the backpack are like crazy. It's got
what game is this for?
Division 2.
Oh, Division 2. Okay.
Yeah. So the collector backpack, you get like extra grenades. Every 30 seconds, a grenade respawns. Like it's like stacked about like you having grenades. And so I said, well, if I put that with my other build where I throw my grenade and get the extra overskill for the skill build, I'm like, maybe I can do that because I could just keep throwing grenades and activate the overskill. And I'm like, oh, okay. Right. So it made me start thinking about some combos that I haven't tried before. And like, will I get to them? I don't know. Let's see how long my attention span lasts in Division 2 after being let down with that. I don't even know. I don't want to talk about it. I'm moving on. Right. I did.
I want to tell chat what happened for a second.
Yeah.
All right, me and Sarge played last week because we didn't have a show last week, so we played the Division 2 and we finished out the season, right? We finished out the last manhunt or whatever. And it was a fucking letdown. It was a fucking letdown yet again. Okay? So much so that there's this character that you have to save. Okay, and you don't get to see that character, but then there's this other character that you have to save, and you do see that character, and like you actually talk to that character, and then at the end of the thing, there's this boss fight. Okay, and the boss fight, we were struggling.
It was a good boss.
It was a good boss fight. It was a good boss fight. We were struggling. Okay, we died, and then I was like, I'm playing it smart. Sarge died. I'm in the room by myself. He said, put your gamma up so I could see. I put my gamma up. It's still pitch dark in the room. I can't see. I'm hiding behind a dresser. Okay. The boss runs in there and he's throwing everything at me. Right. Okay. I'm just hiding behind I'm like, right. And I'm like, I think I'm working. I'm getting him down. I get all his health down after the armor goes. And then all of a sudden he heals back to full. I was like, oh, we're not going to be able to do this. Right? Sarge instantaneously goes, yeah, we're not going to be able to do this. We're going to have to get help. And then all of a sudden a cutscene happens. Right? And then the guy goes outside and he gets bombed by a missile. And I'm like, what just happened? I go, did I kill him?
Right.
No, I didn't kill him.
Right. You didn't get his health down.
No.
You got his armor down and it replenished. Then there was a cutscene and a missile hit him and killed him automatically.
Killed him instantly.
Like, what is happening?
So I didn't even get to kill the boss. Right? I just hid behind a dresser shooting to get his armor down, and then it automatically did it. The game decided to beat the boss for me. Right? And I was like, okay. And then it does this cutscene of, well, now you have a power station. I'm like, okay, what does it do?
Ooh, power station.
Power station. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm so disappointed. And I didn't have any expectations. My expectations was boss fight, beat boss, and I didn't even get to do that. I was like, oh man, this is not good. Anyway, go ahead, Sarge. What else did you play? Because that was our playing of the last season of Division.
This is why, and I'm not going to segue. I'm going to just say this and we're going to move on. This is why I don't care about drip feed content. It's trash. It's
just filler.
It's unlikable. It's just filler.
It's just filler.
I don't care that it's free.
It's the
I
corn.
Don't care.
It's the fructose corn syrup of video games. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Right?
It's not even. There's no substance. You play it, but there's no substance there. It's the corn of video games.
MVP. They want to do the bare minimum to try to keep people in that game to buy some more microtransactions. I'm done. I'm like, I like the game. I really like the game. I love walking around inside that world.
How many times are you gonna kill bosses and nothing happens?
It's the fact that the minimum viable product equation is in effect all the time makes me not like any game after the first year. Honest to God.
Right.
Unless a DLC comes out. Right? Now, I understand that if a DLC comes out, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. But you had it in your mind that you released the game and you were going to do like maybe 2 or 3 DLCs and then close the door. I'm completely okay with that. No game should be in year 5. That's not an MMO. It just shouldn't. Either you have a DLC or you don't. But don't drip feed me bullshit.
Yeah.
Right?
I hear you. I feel you.
Next. Went back to Starfield. I had a little itch. Let's try again. I watched a couple episodes with you playing, and I'm like, let me try to get back into it. It took me 45 minutes to figure out what the hell I was doing because I haven't played in so long.
I threw grenades trying to do something.
I had to relearn the controller again. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's just figure out what I'm doing. And I'm like, all right, did I do the last mission yet? I'm looking at my log, and I'm like, nope, haven't done the last mission yet. Have I did the last mission before that mission? And it said, I'm thinking, yeah. I'm like, all right, it looks like I have to go here next. And then I started thinking to myself, I don't know for a fact. I only know from pieces of information. I kind of know what happens when you finish the main story. And I kept saying to myself, if those words said by those streamers are true, then I want to go for the other powers first and get all the powers
That's what I'm doing.
first, and then do the last mission. For those of you that have already done Game Plus One or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. I have an idea. I just don't know officially, so just don't say anything. I'm fine with it, right? So I played that for like another 2 days, maybe like 6 to 8 hours. 6, maybe 8 hours more. I played, and then lost interest in that. Played a good, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 hours of Vampire Survivor, right?
Okay.
Did a few more levels, unlocked some more achievements. I didn't unlock another guy yet, and I didn't get that DLC. I'm thinking about it, but I'm like,
Oh,
is it
for
really
Vampire
worth it?
Survivor? Yeah.
There's still, the game is done in a way where it's kind of old school, where as long as you
It's
play it,
100% old school.
yeah, as long as you play it and you kind of figure out what you get in the game, like what causes the next achievement to open up, right?
Babylon says the DLC is worth it.
All right, I might do it. I might do it. What else did I play? There was one other game I played. Oh, and I am now playing Dune Spice Wars on normal, and
Okay.
I win maybe 30% of the time. So I'm getting better.
Are you playing that on the console, right?
I am playing on console
Okay.
right now because after working, I don't like to sit at the desk.
I
Rather just lay in a bed because I'm kind of burnt out. And I'm old now, so I have to get a different chair. I can only sit in this chair, I think maybe like 4 or 5 hours, and
I
after
feel
that,
you.
yeah, after that I got to move. The days of playing like the MMO in the desk chair with the PC, they're over.
Yeah.
I got to get a different chair, or like the sitting standing chair. You know, like the one that's
sitting standing
the
chair.
sitting standing chair.
That's called a stool, by the way. Stool.
No, it's not. It's on an incline.
Well, sitting on the edge.
Right. Yeah.
I played also Starfield, and I said to L's in chat, L never played the side missions. I never played the main story, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go play the main story, and I'll tell you.
Together you made peanut butter and jelly.
And I'll tell you how I feel, because they said they didn't like the main story, the campaign, and I said you got to play the side missions. The side missions are the best story, in my opinion. Right now, I'm playing the main campaign, and I'm at a spot right now. I won't spoil it for anybody, even though it's out there or whatnot. But I'm liking the main story right now. Like, there's this mission I'm on right now. And last night, you guys told me it's like a 2-hour long mission. I was like, I'm gonna put pause on that because it was like midnight, and I was just like, yeah, I won't go in. But I'm really liking what I'm playing so far. Now, is it the greatest, single player story ever? No, but it's still entertaining to me. But at the same time, I'm also the person that picks up every, data tape and reads the computer screen.
All right, so I'll rephrase my sentence. For me, it was 2 hours because I check every nook and cranny.
Yeah,
I check everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
if you're gonna just run, it could be less than 2 hours, but that mission's about 2 hours.
The only thing I'm doing is in between missions, I'm fast traveling instead of walking and then exploring stuff. Right. I'm just literally just doing the main storylines one after another.
Load screens, bro.
One of my things that I was talking about the other day, what I don't like, I talked about it in a video yesterday or today. I totally get why people don't like the main story, because you have to go find the artifacts. And when you go find the artifacts, it's that fucking circle thing. And you got to fly up and grab this and grab that and grab over here. And it's like, this is the dumbest.
Why?
Right. This is the dumbest thing you could have done. The most low tier, like, effort, like, story, right? They're just like, yeah, let's put 25 powers in the game. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Right. We're going to do the exact same thing every single time for 25 artifacts. I'm like, and every time I find a new one, I'm like, it's not going to be the same, is it? It's the same. It's the exact same. Right. And they could have easily done, I'm okay with flying and grabbing the stuff and then opening up the portal. Right. And then you go into that whole screen where they do this whole thing and then they give you the cutscene. But fucking put a boss in there. Right,
and let me use the power I just got.
Teach me what the power is, right?
Exactly,
right.
Exactly.
Hell, I'll even take the fight in zero gravity while you're doing the thing. Like, I have to go get the spots, but I also have to shoot the. I won't even say the name because I don't want to ruin it. Like
the bad
guys, right? Like, why? Come on, Bethesda. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve with the whole game. Just doing the same 25 times of the same fucking thing.
Eight powers, no problem. Like 25 powers, you're getting on my nerves. You're getting my nerves.
Well, here's the thing. I know about New Game Plus, and if I have to do it 25 times in this playthrough, I got to do it 25 times again in another playthrough, and then another 25 times, up to 10 plus New Game Pluses. So I have to do it 250 times.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, bro, they have to keep you in the game while they're still working on the DLC.
Besides that, I'm liking the other things in the game. I like the story. I like the combat. It's not the greatest, okay, but I'm enjoying myself with that. But the power thing, okay, I'm just like, come on, bro. I just knocked out my headset. Hold on a second. Okay, so say something real fast so I know I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'm a little upset about that, right? That, like, why are we doing the same thing 25 times?
First of all, the way even the words describing it to me get on my nerves. NG plus. You gotta try to say New Game Plus. All you have to say is multiverse, or just say something else. Stop bullshitting me, right? Just stop bullshitting me, right? Like now, here's where I understand where the developers might have been thinking about it, right? Where they overlapped a couple ideas, right? So, like in the Fallout game or Skyrim or Elder Scrolls game, you play through it, you pick, you say, "Hey, I'm a good guy. I'm a knight. I'm a paladin." Yeah, and then you do the whole paladin thing, right? And then when you finish the game, right? The game is finished. And so the only way you could do anything else now, besides wandering around, if you've done everything, is to start over and then go, "Hey, I'm going to be a bad guy now. All bad guy. I'm going to kill everybody. I'm a dark wizard. Blah blah blah." And you're okay with it, and you go through the game again, but now you're a bad guy. So this game, Multiverses, allows you to go through the multiverse and now change from I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm a girl. Like, it doesn't matter, right? But the whole time you're doing it, you keep the powers, right? And the powers get stronger. So my guess is only one person is probably going to figure this out, and I'm sure he hasn't done it yet because there's too many other games to play. But I'm sure there's a streamer currently, right now, working on getting all 250 powers, right? And then doing a video about it and telling you why you should do it or not do it, right?
I'm sure most of them are just wasted.
I believe, and I know I'm talking out of my ass, but I don't think Bethesda would do such a thing without somebody on the back end going, "Hey, look, somebody actually did it," and they get a prize.
Right.
Because some lunatic decided to go get 250 powers. Like, I can guarantee you there's going to be some kind of little stream or thing that comes up and it's going to be talked about. And maybe when they unlock it, right, then they talk about the DLC because they're just waiting for someone to actually do it.
Right.
Right?
I mean, I like the game. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying my time. I think there's some stupid things that they've done in this game, but it is what it is.
There's stupid things done in every game.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, my biggest pet peeve is the 25 things same over and over again. Like, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Like, you go to the thing, you fly up, you hit 6 things. Sometimes you hit 7 or 8. Right.
I didn't know there was a time limit on it. Did you know there was a time limit?
Yeah. If you
one time I was in there for 5 minutes. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, because you're too slow. You're too slow touching it.
Yeah. I can't open the ring. I'm like, is this game glitched? And I'm flying around 5 minutes. I'm in the room for 5 minutes flying around. I'm like, what is happening right now?
It's longevity. Right. So that's Starfield. I also played. What else have I been playing? I've been playing more Lego Fortnite. I'm enjoying that still. Another thing I've been playing, SnowRunners. I played SnowRunners with you.
I tried.
And also my son.
I tried.
He played the same game as us, but didn't play with us.
I tried playing without you, try to unlock some stuff. And I'm like, I don't have patience.
Yeah, you can't do it by yourself. You have nothing. You have to start off back at the first map.
I was trying to play the game legit. I'm like, what's the easy jobs for me to do? Like, what's the easy vehicles I can get? And I'm trying to go through just normal roads and normal mud, like not even like crazy mud, just normal mud. And I'm like stuck, can't get a winch on anything, can't move back, can't move out. I'm like, nope, Off. Nope. Not doing it. I'm not making myself crazy.
So,
I want to enjoy myself. That game makes me angry.
This is the difference between me and you. This is the difference between me and you, right? So I had this vehicle, and I'm all the way to the far right side of this brand new map, right? And I have to go all the way to the far left to pick up some parts and some metal beams, right? So I take the vehicle, and I have a cart on the back, a trailer. I go across the entire map. I get to the other location. I grab the 2 pieces I need. I start going back, and all of a sudden, I tip over on this one spot, and it tips over, and the metal beams fall out of my truck, and I'm like, okay. So then I have to go grab another truck, and I have to drive it all the way north to go help my other truck get back on its feet, so I can lift up the metal beams. And I have a crane on the back. So I went all the way up to the top, flip it over, but now my truck, for some reason, glitched out. So the trailer, not the trailer, but the back end, the bed of my truck is bent. Okay, so my truck is upright, and the bend is to the left. Okay, so now I'm driving, and every time I drive, okay, it's tipping over, and I have to pick it up again. I went,
no.
So I had to recover.
No.
Then I had to drive all the way back up north. It was supposed to be a 20-minute job. An hour and 45 minutes later, I finished it, and I was like, oh, man, that feels good.
Right. So now I'm giving the game benefit of the doubt, right? There are certain activities in the real world that this game is simulating. I truly believe that games like this are there to screen out people for that actual job in real life. Like, if you like driving a truck or you like flying a plane, like, they make it so realistic, and you have to follow the checklist 1 to 50. Some people can do it.
Right.
1 to 50. Yep, I got to do 1 to 50, and that's how I win the game. And you're okay with it. You're okay with doing the mechanics. But I'm looking at a video game like I want to relax and enjoy myself. And if this game is trying to bust my ass every 5 minutes,
it's the Dark Souls of trucking
games.
To
give me some kind of sense of satisfaction when I'm done with it. Wrong. That game, no, not doing it. Right? Defeat a boss. End a level, find a mystery item. Yes. Trying to drive a virtual truck across the landscape and then can't do it, and then getting stuck for an hour and a half. And no.
So good.
No.
Right?
No.
I love how Lurker's like, I installed it. I'm done. Right? I'm telling you, people think I'm joking. SnowRunners is the Dark Souls of driving games. Right? The whole world is just trying to shit on you the entire time. And you might be having fun. You're playing by yourself, and all of a sudden your truck tips over, and you're like,
yeah,
it just all deflates out of you.
Yeah, but if I don't like the fucking road, then I'll just fix the road. I'll build the road. Give me the construction vehicle. I'll build the better road.
I would like if they did that.
If I can build a bridge, I can build a road. Right? I understand that. I understand it's supposed to be challenging. Okay. But there should be more than one way to win the game.
Sure.
Either I want to go through the mud like an idiot with a 4,000-pound trailer and get stuck 27 times, or I work up enough money to get the construction vehicle and fix the fucking road.
Well, there are ways, like you could earn money to then buy the cars, or you could find the trucks in the world, right? So there's so many maps. There's so many. I'll be honest with you. This game, I know it's not for everyone, but the way they do the seasons. Right? They're like a season 11 or 12 now. They do this game right, man. They add a new map, they add new trucks, they do all the stuff. It's different challenges every time. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Right, Sarge, you can just download mods. There's mods that you can do. There's a modded component.
Don't care.
Let's be honest. When you were playing with me, you were having just a little bit of fun. Come on.
A little fun because the minute I got stuck, somebody can help me out.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what I like about the game, right? I love going into some random person's game when I'm playing, okay? And then just help them out. And you get paid. So if they do the job or they don't do the job, you do the job and you finish the job, you get money, right? And you get money, and then you can buy more trucks. And if you buy a better truck, then you can make your job easier. I like the progression there. That's why I like SnowRunners. We already talked about Division 2. I played a little bit of Circuit Superstars. Oh, I played Sea of Thieves. All right, I want to talk about this a little bit. Right, I played Sea of Thieves. I went in. They had the Safer Seas edition. Okay, so I went in and I started playing Sea of Thieves again with my son. Okay, and we've been waiting a long time because he started like 4 years ago to play, and people would shit on us. Right, 5-year-old kid, and they're like, I don't care, and they would just gank you and whatnot. So now it's Safer Seas. Now we're in our own boat. We're in our own world. And let me tell you, what a breath of fresh air. Okay? It does completely change the dynamic of the game because I know that when I'm on the boat, someone out there is not trying to shit on me when I go onto an island.
Oh, but it's an NPC pirate.
Correct. There's NPC pirates, and there's plenty of NPC stuff to do. Now, the good part about it is that if you haven't played yet and you can go up to level 40 with each of the alliances, okay? Once you hit level 40 with each of the alliances, you have to go into the regular world, the regular game, to level up those alliances further. Okay, so you can get up to level 40. But let me tell you, it's so much fun now because now my son and I, we're doing the forts. We're getting all the forts. He was like, oh, this is so fun. We're like killing all the guys in the forts, getting all the treasure. We just stop in the middle of the ocean, pick up the stuff. And then when you turn all the stuff in, you're getting all accommodations. You're getting the plunder pass thing. You're doing all the stuff. It felt so good playing the game without being shit on. Now, I understand people are like, well, it's Sea of Thieves, not Sea of Friends. But playing with my son in that setting was so much less stressful for me because he's just a kid and he didn't really know how to play. So while I'm piloting the ship and I'm fending off other pirates and doing all the stuff and trying not to lose things, I'm trying to negotiate. Like, sure, it's fun for me, not fun for him because he's like, this is not fun. I want to stop playing. So the Safer Seas, I had a blast, man. I had a blast with it, and now I can just go in and do the stories and whatnot because I really don't care about the XP going up to level 50. Like, I'm already 50 and 55, almost 60 with each of the alliances. So I wasn't getting any experience towards that. But I was getting the gold, right? And the gold, I think, is knocked down by like 40%, if I'm not mistaken. So you're not getting as much gold, but it doesn't matter because now you're getting more gold because no one's trying to dick you over as you're sailing around the ocean, right?
Oh, well, my only question after that is, does he actually do anything?
He does.
Does he actually help you?
He actually does it. He doesn't help much with the sails. We were using the brigantine, the medium ship.
Medium.
I just like piloting that one better. And I said, next time we play, I said, we're getting the small one because he would never touch the front sail. He was running around with the dog, shooting the dog out of the cannon, cooking food in the thing. He's being a 9-year-old, right? So I was like, I need to use the smaller ship so I can steer with the sail, okay?
Yep.
Because we hit so many rocks and stuff. Because I was like, all right. I was like, you gotta pull up the sail. He's like, what? Pull up the sail. Pull the sail up. And we're just flying. And I drop the anchor. And he wouldn't do it. We just smash it. And he would just start laughing and stuff. And it was great, right? And he did repair the ship and whatnot. But it's a good time without being bogged down by the rest of the stuff. We went to go fight some of the pirate ships. We went on the islands and fought a bunch of completely different experience. So much better. So I'm glad they did that. And I think they're going to get some feedback as far as a lot more people, I think, are going to play that. And I really don't think they care.
A lot more fathers and their sons might actually go back to play it because they're not going to get ganked.
Yeah. And I think Rare might change in a year or so. They might do something more where if they raise the level cap for the regular game, I think they'll raise the cap from 40 to 50 or 60 in the Safer Seas. I don't know. It just seems, but I really do like it. Lurker says, I love watching 30. He spent the entire hour climbing a hill through the trees, got to the top, and then realized he went 2 minutes up the road. He could have done it in 3 minutes. Not the point, Lurker. When I did that truck, that was the greatest thing ever. I went up an 88% incline with that truck, just and pulling myself up. And you guys said I couldn't do it, and I showed you I could, and that's all that mattered, right? That's all that mattered. So let's see. They'll go back and play it now. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I suggest that anyone that liked playing Sea of Thieves but didn't like the PvP aspect and being ganked and taking all your stuff, Safer Seas. Safer Seas is just by yourself and super relaxing if you're just coasting around and you just do your stuff. Because if you're not familiar with the game, you can learn the maps, you can learn the different islands, you can start learning the stuff, and you don't have to worry about someone stealing your ship or blowing up your ship or taking your stuff. So it's a lot better experience. You do get less XP, get less gold, less XP. But in return, the way I look at it, Dave, is if I'm going to play for 2 hours span and I have all the gold on my ship and I got all that and I'm about to turn it in and then someone steals it from me, I don't get that XP. I don't get that stuff, right? I get the plunder's pass stuff, but now I get less XP, but I'm getting all of it. I'm getting all the stuff that I'm turning in and all the stuff.
So the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's just less stressful.
You're getting the same XP because everybody's getting time and money.
Yes, The time feels
Time
better.
and money always.
I'm okay
Time and
getting
money.
less because I'm being less stressed, and I know when I put an hour in, I'm putting an hour in. I'm not wasting an hour, right?
Yeah,
So,
and by the way, what's the big deal if you're up a level or not? It's just progression, regardless how you look
right,
at it.
the progression to get pirate captain or just to get gold to buy cosmetics in the game. I'm not worried about getting to level 100. I'm just playing the game. I'm just playing the game. So yeah.
Right.
Dave says, well, less XP means the level up slower, and you can also put more time into the game before you reach the cap. That is better in my opinion.
Sure. It's better.
Yeah, it just all depends. You know, when you're playing with a 9-year-old and no one's ganking you, it's a much better. He said he won't play it. It's because it's XP thing. I mean,
because he won't play because he's getting less XP. Does he believe he's really getting that much less?
yeah, I mean, he's not playing it at all. So
Right.
so
You're not getting any
he's not
XP.
playing any at all. So he's not getting any XP. So
I think playing it's the better choice. At least you're getting something.
I mean, I'm playing the game to have fun with my son.
Right.
I don't give two shits about the XP, right? And he's super excited because he made enough gold, and he's like, "Oh, I can buy another outfit for my dog." And I'm like, "Great, that's it." He's having fun. I'm having fun, and I don't have to worry about fending off 15 streamers, right? You know, whatever.
It was fun in the beginning when everyone didn't know how to play the game, but now everyone knows all the little hacks, and bugs
tryhards,
and tricks, right? If you know all the little tricks now about what gun to use and when to fire and what angles are better on the bow, like when you know all that, it's a different story. In the beginning, when everybody's new and everybody was doing the same thing, where they throw themselves off the boat when they try to fly by, and they try to get you in that with the stab as they're coming down
try
on
to
you.
land on the guy's ladder. You shoot yourself at the sails.
Yep. And try to hide up there. They don't know you're there.
The game has changed dramatically over the last 5 years, right? And it's a phenomenal 5 years. It's a phenomenal game. It really is. It's one of my favorite games. And now I'm going to play it more because now I can play the safer seas, and I'm okay with the less XP. Yeah, the story factions and stuff. Yeah, it's great. All right, so that's it. That's the games I've been playing, and
but you don't have the tinglies in your stomach while you're doing stuff. Like at any moment, somebody's there. We're always looking.
I'm okay.
There's a sail on the horizon.
Yeah,
like,
if I want that though, I can go back and play that mode.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is you lose that little.
Yeah. You're not looking over your shoulder. You're just sailing. Yeah, you're just sailing.
Right.
You're not sailing going, I have stuff on the thing. Okay. I gotta turn this in. Where's the closest island? Where's the closest island?
Right, yeah, but don't you remember when we played? I'm like, the sail on the left. There's a brigantine on the left.
Yep.
It's right on the side. The sloop on the right. 2 slopes on the right.
Yep.
There's 3. You're screaming out stuff because you don't know, and you're like, they're coming this way.
Well, no,
they're coming.
There is that moment where when you play the regular game, you're like, I see a boat in the it's just you and another sloop. You see him and you see the sails, right? And all of a sudden you're like, he's gonna come for us. And you're like, nah, he's not. You're like, no, he's totally coming for us, right? And all of a sudden you see the sails go. You're like, he's coming for us, and then it comes towards, and you got this whole dynamic. I love it, but when I'm playing with my son, I don't want that dynamic. I just want to just sail. That's it. I just want to sail. So yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, let's go to the top stories. All right. The first story I want to talk about. First story. If you guys notice, we have a whole new setup here. A whole new setup. I redesigned the whole thing for this year. We got Jack Black rumored to play Steve in the Minecraft movie. So the actor is apparently gearing up for another big role in the video game film. Jack Black might be set to play another iconic video game character in the movie, Steve from Minecraft. Black is apparently joining the cast of the upcoming adaptation of the mega popular game. Deadline reports that he's going to play Steve, the original default character skin for Minecraft. A variety also reported that Black is part of the cast, but didn't say who he might be playing. Black also was amazing as Bowser in 2023's Super Mario Brothers movie. So what do you think, Sarge? Do you think, I mean, obviously, I know you played Minecraft. I know you don't know the story or whatever of Minecraft, but you know Steve, the default character that everybody is. Jack Black is playing that character. Do you think it's a good fit? I think it's a good fit.
I mean, Jack Black looks like the crazy guy you find on a deserted island now. Here's the joke. Here's the joke. I think what's going to happen. I believe that Jack Black's going to be in the movie, except that he's going to be like the dog, and the bark is going to be Jack Black. Like everyone thinks Jack Black's going to be like a big part of the movie, but really he's just like the dog. That's it.
No.
Yes.
There's a picture of him reading a
Yes.
Minecraft book. And I think that's a key. I think he is going to play Steve in the Minecraft. And look, I like it. I think I don't know if it's I don't think it's a live action movie, right? I think it's a animated movie like Mario, isn't it not?
Describe to me how this movie looks. Is it animated?
I think it would have to be animated, right?
Well,
I don't know.
that's
Does
what
it
I'm
say?
saying.
Does it say here? I don't think it does.
It's a world of blocks. How is this
I-
going to be anything else?
I think what they kind of do. All right, I'm gonna pitch you an idea. It almost sounds like Mario, right? So Mario goes through a tube and then ends up in Princess Peach's world and stuff, right? What
Yeah.
about if Minecraft he gets sucked into some portal and he goes from being Jack Black in regular life, and then or his name's Steve, you know what I'm saying, in regular life, and then he becomes the character Steve in this Minecraft world, right? I can see that, and it turns to CGI, right? So it's like live action, and then all of a sudden he goes through another portal. And then all of a sudden, now he's in the Minecraft world.
There are so many things you could do with the Minecraft as a Minecraft movie or like a television show. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the Adventures of Steve. There's so many items and characters in the game that you could probably do like a Saturday morning cartoon series
Oh,
of
sure.
Minecraft.
I mean, there's people that did that type of stuff on YouTube.
No
Yeah.
problem, right? But at the same time, if you're doing a movie about it, you better come up with a really good story, like a good one, right? It would have to be something that gets people to actually want to watch it and give it a little bit more popularity across the board, as opposed to just the 6 to 10-year-olds who are Minecrafting.
Right. Yeah, Krebsy, when this movie is set to be live action, right? You know what other movie was live action? Lion King. Lion King was a live action, but it wasn't live action because it was fucking CGI, right?
Blocks. It's all blocks, though.
So I think that if it is going to be live action, it will be what I said. It'll be like where they are regular people and then they fall into the world, or something happens into the Minecraft and they turn into the CGI Minecraft characters, and then they're voicing the characters. I can't imagine them running around. Minecraft's whole thing is the blockiness, right? That's what Minecraft is. So if you make Minecraft, but looks like regular world, it's going to be a little weird. But hey, I don't know. That Hollywood knows how to make movies, don't they? I mean,
yeah, they're on a roll.
They know how to make those movies. They're making
well.
so many good movies nowadays.
They're doing well.
I think they do a mixture of like a Roger Rabbit type of thing, where it's like animated meets live action. I don't think it's live action like in real life like this the entire movie. There's no way.
Right.
Magic Dolphin says gifted, or he doesn't say anything. He's gifted 1 membership. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Bitrate was gifted the membership. Appreciate that. And Jack will be singing. Oh, of course.
The problem with
course.
talking about the
Thanks
problem
for
with you
coming
talking
in.
about Minecraft is I always want to play Minecraft for a little bit after we talk about Minecraft.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's something about the game that I just kind of like I zone out. It's basically like it's the video game equivalent of like a Xanax.
Right.
Like you just kind of chill out, right? Like I know what I got to do. I play on survival. I know how to make sure I cover the bases, get the defenses. Like you just play calm.
Yeah,
Right.
but the difference between Free Guy and Minecraft is literally known for the blockiness of the thing. So if they make it like Free Guys, which is basically off of like The
Free Guy.
Sims, Grand Theft Auto, you know what I mean? Like that type of stuff. It fits what Ryan Reynolds was doing for that movie. Minecraft, it would be idiotic to make a Minecraft movie that wasn't blocky like Minecraft. I'm just saying.
It-
Right?
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
I mean, it could
Wouldn't
work,
work.
but I'm just saying
Wouldn't work.
let's make a Minecraft movie, but make it nothing like Minecraft. I don't know. Just seems weird to me. Minecraft is a palate cleanser.
There is so like someone who doesn't understand Minecraft. Like in the beginning, it's just a break the bricks and build some stuff, right? But the amount of levels now in that game, the complexity levels of like the magic system, the creature system, the food system, the armor, like there's so many systems inside that game that once you start playing and you ask the question like, well, what do I do with this? 27 pages. What do I do?
You want me to
what-
get my
what do I-
son? He could tell you what to do with everything in the game.
What do I do with this? Another 34 pages. It's like it's madness.
Yeah.
How detailed that game actually is.
Yeah, he could tell you everything. He's like, oh, they added this. I'm like, what does that do? He's like, oh, Dad, this is what it does. And he tells me the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't keep up on everything Minecraft. He's like, you taught me everything with Minecraft. I said, yes, but I passed the baton. Now you know everything about Minecraft. So yeah. All right, Mike, have a good one. Let's go to the next topic. Next topic is, oh, that's not the right one. Next topic is everything we know about Star Wars Outlaws. Okay, everything we know about Star Wars Outlaws. This comes from Kotaku. Okay,
Star Wars game.
What's that?
The Star Wars game.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars game. So, what is Star Wars Outlaws about? Ubisoft takes on Star Wars and follows a new hero called Kay Vess and her sexy robot friend ND5. I don't know why they said sexy, but and who are the thieves, mercenaries, and artists, or just are the to stay alive and the Empire's power grows. So, but one of her jobs puts her in the Empire's line of fire, leading her and her companion Nyx to attempt to score the biggest score. Basically, you're going on the greatest heist in the Outer Rim has ever seen. So, whatever that is, that'll be interesting to find out. Maybe it's the heist to like steal something from the second Death Star. You know what I mean? Who knows? It says, when does Outlaws take place in Star Wars in the timeline? Outlaws is set in the year between Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi. This is during the height of the Empire's reign, and this is where Kay Vess is constantly on the run. Her illegal activities have caught the Empire's eye, and Luke Skywalker and friends have yet to take them down, according to the narrative director. And the team wanted to explore the ground-level impact on Star Wars intergalactic conflicts. He says, quote, "We always knew that we wanted to create an original scoundrel story." He also told them that there was something exciting about looking at the universe from the perspective of the scoundrel like Kay. He has no experience with the Empire's Jedi or Rebellion or the Sith. So it's nice to have like a fresh character, right? And being a Star Wars fan, where it takes place and it's going to intertwine with that story, but at the same time, like there's no Jedi powers, there's none of that, right? It's a completely separate type of thing. So I'm looking forward to that. It says, how does it play? It says, Star Wars Outlaw looks like Ubisoft's game is more ways than one. Yes, it has an open world structure and becomes synonymous with the company, but it also has a stealth action element like sneaking, parkour, and stealth attacks, reminiscent of the Assassin's Creed series. There's also some cover shooter elements and a hand-to-hand combat. You can also manipulate the environment by sending Nyx to hit switches and pick up items across the battlefield. In addition to on-foot combat, Outlaws has vehicle combat too, with last year's Ubisoft's showing Kay firing her blaster while on a speeder bike and then slowing down the time in the lineup of her shots. Also, the blaster seems to have different settings on the modification to change its functions, and also demonstrates including the stun mode and also focused mode. So there's different weapon functionalities with your blasters. There's also a wanted system like Grand Theft Auto. Part of it being a wanted criminal is being on the run. Star Wars Outlaws has a reputation and wanted system similar to Grand Theft Auto, which means that you'll be caught doing crimes. You might find yourself on the wrong side of the Imperial blaster, and your reputation in different factions will affect how easily you can access or certain areas. Now, this intrigues me, Sarge, and I know you like stuff like this, right? So the wanted system and like the factions. So what I would like to know is, do I have the opportunity to screw over different factions at the same time? Or you choose one faction and then you manipulate one faction to hate the other faction because you do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to overhype anything.
You're not overhyping. You're going too far. See, there are different mechanics in video games that can be spent time on that allows for certain things to happen, right? Now, playability, outer space combat, ground combat, elevation combat, movement, like your transversal type of thing. Can you fly? You got a jetpack. All kinds of things. They're all complicated. These are all factors that increase how long it takes to actually make the game work well, right? You're talking about like the story mechanics, and do I allow the player to manipulate people through the storyline to do a backstab in order for you to get a payout at the end? That would be amazing,
right?
But at the same time, who's coding that? Like, in order for that to work, you would have to do multiple scenes of an actual action sequence based on whether or not your manipulations worked.
Right.
I'm 100% behind that. I think that would be incredible. That would be like the next step in like what a Mass Effect game is. How do you make Mass Effect better? You have the same kind of playability. more open worlds, and now I can affect people behind the scenes. No, that's an upgrade. That would be an upgrade.
Well, they say that it says in the areas, while also bound to some type of enemies your way through space, you're important to keep in mind who hates you, and at least while traveling. So, like, let's say you screw over, I don't know, a faction A, okay? And then all of a sudden...
This might be Assassin's Creed with this Star Wars character, Mike.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
But they're saying there's a wanted system in factions. So they say in one of the other interviews, they said that if Jabba the Hutt's in the game, and you could do a job for Jabba the Hutt, and then you could either, one, screw over Jabba and keep the money, or two, you can give him the money and then get other quests from him, right? Yeah. So that's cool. Now, I wonder if you work for one faction, if it brings up... What other game did that? Where you work for one and then your rate goes up for the other guys. I forget what game recently did that. Chat, help me out here. There's a game where you would do something and then it would hurt your effect with the other factions, and then if you...
Well, that's only if the missions you were doing affected those people.
Correct, but there's another game out there that did it. So maybe they do the same type of stuff.
You're a scoundrel. If I'm doing a job, I'm doing a job.
Correct.
Right? Everyone's freelance in that kind of field.
But I think it would be cool if you could do... If different jobs open up if you choose one way or another.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was done in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I think it was done in Cyberpunk, but I didn't play it. There was another game I played that had some sort of system like that.
I'm pretty sure the faction system and the way you're describing was done in Cyberpunk.
All right, so Warframe does that. The Lord of the Rings Mordor game also has a Nemesis system. Yeah, the Nemesis system did that. Maybe it was... maybe I'm thinking of Warframe. All right, so it also says... cool and all, but what about the space travel? It says Kaya's ventures span the galaxy, and she can fly around in a Trailblazer starship from space. She can fly to different destinations and also take part in some space combat against the Empire forces. You can also jump into light speed while in space and escape the Imperial forces and cool down your wanted meter. Now, they showed a trailer months ago, right? And they showed the cutscene where you get into the thing. There's an Imperial shuttle coming down behind you, right? And I said it when we first watched it. I said, what about if she doesn't get on the ship? You just start firing on the Empire, or is that like a set scene that's happening, right? So she gets in the ship, and then it goes to a cutscene. She sits down just like Starfield. It cuts in the cab. She sits down. She pulls the thing closer, and then all of a sudden she hits a couple buttons, and then it shows the outside of the ship. It takes off, and then it goes into space like No Man's Sky. Okay, it goes right behind the ship. It shows your HUD a little bit, okay, but not your full HUD, just a little bit of HUD, and then you fly through the clouds, and then boom.
That's a load screen.
You're in space, right?
Right.
Before
you not moving and a partial HUD is
right.
That's the load screen.
So then, right before the person moves on the screen, the HUD at the bottom pops up, and then all of a sudden the ship goes to the left hardcore. Because I was like, it's a mixture between Starfield's cutscene and No Man's Sky's through the clouds and whatnot, right? So I don't think you could turn around that ship while you're flying to space. Turn around and start firing down on the Imperial shuttle, right? Yeah. I think once you get in, that cutscene happens. It's a cutscene until you get to the space. Now, once you get to space, this is what I think is going to happen. It's just an open area, big enough where you can fly quite a ways, okay, from the planet, okay? But I think what's going to happen is there's a planet and there's the space around the planet, okay? You're not going to be able to fly like No Man's Sky from one planet to the next. You have to do the light speed, and then you're going to have to just jump to the next system, which is the same thing you're doing in Starfield, right? The reason I'm bringing that up, if that's what it is, I want the same level of intensity people had against Starfield to the game that does exactly the same thing, right? But they do it differently because they squeeze you, as Reese said the other day, they squeeze you through the rock. You know what I mean? Like to make that load screen, like God of War, or any game like that.
You make fun of it, but at least it was done tactfully.
Sure.
Right? It makes it seamless. It's another area. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
Right? And people who don't understand video games or have been playing for as long as we have don't recognize that as anything. All they notice is I didn't have to look at a load screen.
Right, even though that is the load screen. Right.
That's all they care about.
Right.
There are so many shortcuts you could have in a game like that. I'm hoping that the game is solid to begin with. There are so many factors involved that makes a game like that fun or not, if it becomes tedious or not. Like, the gaming systems in that game have to be fun first. Complex can be later. Like you could put something in that's a little bit more complicated, but the game has got to be firing on all cylinders when it releases. Like it's got to be a complete game.
Well,
You know what I mean?
they
Like a good story, good gameplay. Like you don't need to check every box, but the boxes that you check better be done really well.
Well, when they first showed this, and this is before Starfield came out, I said, this is going to be my Starfield. I said, I think I'm going to like this more than Starfield. But dialogue choices, but not branching threads. It says, as seen as demonstration video, Star Wars Outlaws features dialogue choices that let you color the lines of who Kay is. The example shown in Kay's deciding whether or not to be a bribe on the Empire lacking, according to the Massive. And these choices won't result in a branching storyline, but it will let you add terror or Kay's personality and scheming. Okay, it also says that Outlaws will contain multiple planets from Star Wars' long history. So while Star Wars Outlaws takes place in the original trilogy window, Kay will visit planets from multiple eras of the series' history. And we've also seen a Kajim planet introduced in The Rise of Skywalker. And we also looks like the gambling city of Kanto, Blight of the Last Jedi. And I haven't seen anything else in there, but I'm pretty sure we'll either going to put Tatooine. They'll probably put Tatooine. Mos Eisley is in there, probably.
They always put in the ones that they should. That's how you get more connected.
Yeah.
But going back to the thing you were talking about, like the ship lands behind you, and instead of getting on your ship, can you turn around and go after the ship? Like in the old days, when they allowed you to try something like that, where they wanted you to go a certain direction, they didn't force you, and you decided to go against the direction that they wanted you to go to, all that would really happen would be like something like the turret on the ship would turn towards you, and it'd be like an automatic death.
Right.
So then you knew that you couldn't go that way, but they allowed you to do
right.
it.
But this is an open world. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. If they allow you to try, but it's not something that you could actually accomplish, then that's what you're faced with. You're faced with a kill screen or something that happens that you can't avoid, and then that teaches you, well, I can't do it this time.
Right.
And then maybe you try it again on something else, and maybe it allows you. But the fact that they program that in is actually, I think, a good thing, because it at least allows you to try something, because otherwise you feel like I'm only in a cinematic and I'm only on a rail.
Someone asked the other day in my stream if you think you could fly around the planet. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be able to take your plane and fly around like No Man's Sky around the planet. I think what's going to happen is that's why they put the motorcycle in there. You can get others. It's like Red Dead Redemption. You steal someone's horse and then you ride around the map faster or whatnot. You get on the biker and then you drive around. I don't think you're going to be able to fly in your ship and then fly around the thing, because then you would never use your bike, right? You would never use your bike.
We have to discuss definitions this year, and we're not going to just throw definitions up in the air and throw them and bury them and whatever. When we talk about open world, right, we're talking about things like Grand Theft Auto, Skyrim,
Assassin's Creed,
Far Cry,
Red Dead Redemption,
right? Like that's open world, right?
That's what this is.
Not Mass Effect, but like I believe that this Star Wars game is probably going to be more like Mass Effect.
Nope, they said
it is an open world.
Nope, they said it's like Division, right? So you'll be running around like the big cities and stuff like that. It's open world. You get to go wherever you want. So when you looked at the map or when you see the desert, anywhere to the far right or far left, that you can go. Yeah, that's what they said, right?
Okay.
So Salty's like, I don't think the open world is as much as you think. I mean, I think it's as much as they said it is, right?
We'll see.
I'm not putting expectations in my head what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be what they said it's going to be. And they said that I don't think it's going to be giant planets. That's not what's in my head. What I think it's going to be is going to be the size of maps about the size of Division 2, right?
But this is why I say I'm not going to play fast and loose with definitions of words this year. If they say open world, then that's what I'm talking about.
It's massive.
So let's see how that works.
Massive has made the Pandora game, Avatar of Pandora, and people are complaining it's too goddamn big, right? They're like, oh, it's just too big to be big. And then you have Division 1 and Division 2, and those are big maps, right?
That's an actual issue. Sometimes
I get that, but Massive made those games, and Massive's making another open world game. It just happens to be in Star Wars this time. Right? I'm not thinking of it's going to be 1,000 planets, right? No, they said it's 5 planets, and it's going to be large maps. And there was an article last year that they said how big. They said how big the actual map is, right? So we'll see. It also says here that God damn it, I keep pulling my goddamn headset out of my speaker here. It also says that there'll also be referencing, it seems, the prequels, and also it seems some references in the events that also in the environmental elemental, like pod racers. It says also, when will Star Wars Outlaws come out? So there was a couple things that happened, right?
That's ready.
Well, they in a Walt Disney blog post, they said that it was coming out it went from 2024 to late 2024, and then all of a sudden they retracted that real fast and got rid of the tweet, and they said it's just coming out in 2024. Now, a lot of people are looking at that as going, well, does that mean it's getting pushed back to 2025? Or does that mean that it is coming out earlier? They just didn't want you to know when it's coming out, and putting late, Massive's like, no, that's not coming out late. It's ready to go, right? It's ready to go. Now, the director of the game has left that to go work on Division 3. So a lot of people are worried that this game is going to not be that very good, but I look at it as the game's done. It's done and ready to come out, and that's why he moved on to the next project.
I don't think so. If this was the end of 24 and the beginning of 25 instead of the beginning of 24, and you told me he left to go work on something else, I'll agree with you. If the director left, I'm not sure it's done.
If the game is done, the game is done. Why would the director need to stay?
If the director is no longer needed, we're looking at 6 months. The game's coming out. That game's not coming out in 6 months.
The only reason, and the reason I say this, just like films, directors are done with the film. They're done with the editing process. They're done with the movie, right? And sometimes
the movie part, the part that they're filming.
No. They're done with the movie. Like they filmed the actual principal photography. They did the reshoots or whatnot, and now they went through the edit, right? The director stays through the whole thing majority of the time, right? Stays through until the movie is done. Once it's done, the director moves on to another project, okay? And if it's done, sometimes the studio releases it, and other times they take that movie and they put it on a shelf. And I think in the video game aspect here, I think that Ubisoft's waiting for a window to when they can release it. Like, what's the best time they can release it? And they don't want to put a time out there because you see things happen all the time where it's like delayed or whatnot. And they're just waiting. And I think that the director's leaving because the game is done. And now they're like, well, when are we releasing it? And Ubisoft's like, not yet. Not yet. Right? And Disney's like, well, it's coming out late 24. They're like, no, it's not coming out late. We just say 2024, right? So maybe they want to surprise people and whatnot. Water's saying in chat, May 4th, maybe May 4th, 2024, right? May the 4th be with you.
That would be the proper date to release a Star Wars game,
right? So we'll see what happens. There was a story that we read earlier, late last year, where one of the Ubisoft games was being delayed. And I said, I hope it's not this game. And it looks like it was that game. And now they're saying late 2024. And I was like, oh, it is that game. But they're saying, no, it's not late 2024. So I don't know. Here's my thing. Keep the game as long as you have. Make sure the game is working really well. And don't give us a date until you actually have an actual date. Don't give us a date and say November 11th. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we have to delay it like 2 weeks before it comes out, right? Because that's signs of whoop, whoop, something's wrong, right? Just shut up. Get the game finished. Do what you have to do. Flush it out, and then release it when it's done. Make a game, sell a game. That's right. So we'll see what happens there. Next story. Doom dev reportedly working on a Star Wars Mandalorian for Xbox. Now, we've had stories like this before about the other games that are in the works. So after reports of the Knights of the Old Republic remake being canceled, fans have been logging in for Star Wars games, and PlayStation fans continue to wait for an update for Xbox users might be in for a pleasant surprise soon. id Software, best known for Doom and Quake franchise, is reportedly working on a Star Wars licensed game exclusively for Xbox. Now, why it matters is the move that could give Xbox a major advantage over PlayStation since the remake was expected to be a big exclusive for Sony. On a tweet, it says, I can't read that because it's not in English. It says, the news comes from a leaker. And it says, who has heard rumors of Star Wars game from Doom developers could be targeted for 2024 or 2025 release. While it's just a rumor for now, the idea for certainly interesting. Earlier this year, EA technical artist released a concept art for the Mandalorian themed game, which looked stunning. Now, if id Software is indeed developing a Star Wars game they are using in the house id Tech 8 engine, combining the engine with the rich universe of Star Wars could lead to a splendid result. Now, since the software specializes in shooter games, the Star Wars game should be a natural fit for the studio. In the past, EA DICE also have worked on Star Wars Battlefront and their own first-person shooter series based on the IP. Now, therefore, is a similar game, but it's also fleshed out narrative of The Mandalorian could be a major hit. So following the leak, many believe that the first-person style might not be the best pick for Star Wars game. However, was confident that the id Software will they'll not disappoint. Even if the studio wants to transition to the third-person gameplay for Elite, the team is more than capable of making this a shift. So my question for you, Sarge, is that Disney, we reported on this, wanted one major Star Wars game and one less major Star Wars game every year. Now, we just talked about Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws. That's a major Star Wars game. Last year's major Star Wars game was Jedi Survivor. This year could be Outlaws, right? Or if that gets delayed, this could be the game that comes out surprisingly that no one knew about, and all of a sudden it comes out. So do you think that we just talked about Outlaws? Do you think Outlaws moves to 2025, or do you think this game comes out in 2025 and this is the major Star Wars game for it? Because we also have the Eclipse one, which is also another Star Wars game from Quantic Dream, I think, is making that one. And that's supposed to be like 2026, 2027, right? So what do you think?
There's a lot of factors when you're talking about the Star Wars games. Since the TV shows and the movies are in the trash can, I'm not sure they're willing to just release a Star Wars game willy-nilly. I think what they're going to try to do is coincide with one of their other releases, like a television show or movie. I think that's what they're going to do. Because the brand is so damaged currently that I don't think a just single release of a Star Wars product will get anyone's head to turn at all.
Well,
right? I think they're going to wait for something to come out. So when does the next Star Wars show or movie start or come out?
Well, that's just it. There's no other movie coming out for Star Wars till 2025. Okay. And I don't think the next Mando season's till 2025 either. So I'm assuming that Outlaws comes out this year, 2024. Okay. And then
it would be cool.
Right. And then this game, if it's, I don't know how far along it is, but in the leak, it says 2024, 2025. It could be a smaller game and come out late in 2024, or it could come out in 2025 as that Star Wars game in that slot, right? So I don't know. And there's also Respawn or DICE. Someone's working on another Star Wars game as well. So they wanted one major Star Wars game coming out every single year for the next like 6 years. So started last year with Jedi Survivor.
I'll tell you what game would hold people over while they decide when to release the Outlaw game. If you came out with a more, I guess, flushed out version or intricate version of Battlefront with a different system of vehicles in the game, make it more like Battlefield instead of Battlefront, where you have bases and people go, you know what I mean? People can man turrets and that kind of thing. That type of game would hold people over for fun factor for sure until Outlaws came out. Like that to me would be
something
a
small.
proper release.
Well, I see. This is what I think. Paul Gaming in chat says, which is going to be. He says, "I'm sorry. They want a new game every 6 months. Yeah, but they wanted a major game and one smaller game, right? So they wanted 2 releases every year. Okay, one major, one smaller. The smaller one last year was supposed to be that bounty hunter game on the mobile device. I forget what it was called. I think it was called Star Wars Bounty Hunters, if I'm not mistaken. And that got postponed or delayed till this year. So if this is a major game, and I said last year or maybe even a year before, I still think Battlefront 3 is in the works somewhere. Okay, and I think that's a minor game because it's not it's a $70 game, right? But what I'm saying is it's not as a major single player game campaign type thing. It's more like a Squadrons where all of a sudden they can put it out for $50, $60, whatever cheaper thing, and get another Star Wars game out there. And that's a multiplayer where they can put it out and they can make microtransactions and keep people coming back or whatnot. Where a game like Mandalorian, Outlaws is a more chunkier, bigger single player action game. But who knows? Who knows? I'm excited because right now, even though Star Wars entertainment in the film and television is dead to me, like it's just garbage right now, okay? I'm excited for video games because the video games have been the only things that have been having good stories and whatnot. So I'm excited about what they can do with this, but we'll see moving in the future if this is true. I think it is true. We just don't know what year. Maybe they shadow drop it real soon.
Well, here's another idea. You can bounce this around, and nobody's done it yet. But why not do a story with Star Wars characters, but do it like a Final Fantasy game? But it's a Star Wars game.
I think that's what Eclipse is.
Right.
Eclipse seems like it's more of like a Final Fantasy type of, and I don't mean Final Fantasy like a turn-based type of thing. I'm talking about like movie, like a movie game.
The new version of Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
where the combat system is live action.
Yeah.
You have to make the choices on the fly.
Correct.
Not necessarily like a turn-based Final Fantasy, but like Final Fantasy 15 was.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that if they do that, I don't think it's. I'm saying like a Final Fantasy. I'm agreeing with you that I think they should do it like a Final Fantasy, where it's a live like action and also like movie.
It would be something different, but
Sure.
still be in the Star Wars IP. I'm reaching for stuff that's a little bit different to get people at least interested in it. Like how many, like if you did a first person shooter, like it would be Mandalorian, and you'd be a bounty hunter and you'd go on bounty missions. Like that would be it.
I would like,
but like
first third person, right? First and / third person.
My bet's on something that can keep the population happy for a while you're looking to release another game. I think a really done up version of a Battlefield game for Star Wars would work really well.
That I would love if they come out with another Battlefront. I do. I would love a Battlefront, but we'll see what happens. All right, next story.
Because like I can't imagine they're thinking about releasing another Battlefield game after all the crap that's happened over the last couple of years.
Well, supposedly supposedly this year we're going to hear about the next Battlefield game.
Well, and let's hope that the Battlefield game that they're talking about is a Star Wars Battlefront game. Let's hope that.
Well, I think it's a Battlefield game, and I think that's that comes out. They'll probably announce it this year, and it'll probably come out next year. We'll see. They said they have a lot of things in the pipeline for the universe of Battlefield, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know, whatever that means. All right, so the next story I want to talk about is the Xbox Series S toaster. This is not a meme, right? This is not a meme. This is actually, we call it the potato, but it's actually a toaster now.
It is a potato, bro.
Yeah, so
that's not real.
It is. It's 100% real. 100% real. So
wait, it's a toaster or it's an actual Xbox
no.
X?
It's a toaster that looks like the Xbox Series S, just like the mini fridge looks like the Xbox Series X. They made a toaster that's the Series S. So have you ever wanted a kitchen full of memes? Well, the Xbox Series S toaster is here and ready to sit next to your Xbox Series X fridge. Yes, this is a real toaster and can handle all the bread, English muffins, and frozen waffles you throw at it. Even toast an Xbox Sphere logo into your bread. Yes, really. It says Xbox Series S toaster first emerged nearly a year ago on French website, but Walmart has now started selling the toaster for $39.99, as spotted by the Wario64 Twitter account. While also the toaster looks like an Xbox Series S, which is a signature black air vent, also includes a bunch of features such as actually wanting for toasting your bread. There's also 6 levels of browning and removable crumb tray, and the LED countdown as also defrost button. But the main star of this is showing obviously the ability to imprint your Xbox logo into your bread like a real gamer. This isn't the first toaster made for games, though. Bungie released a Destiny-themed toaster a couple years ago, completed with functions to burn the Destiny tricorn logo into your bread. Razer also promised it would also make an April Fool's Day joke toaster in reality, but it never happened. There you go. We have a Xbox Series S toaster. Let the memes begin, because when a game comes out on the Series S, they'll be like, what is that, running on a toaster?
This thing will be in Spencer's in less than 6 months.
It's at Walmart right now.
Come on, bro.
$39.99.
It's going to go to Spencer's. Listen, if anyone remembers watching the Angry Video Game Nerd, if you ever remember the episode where he got his friend to remake a Nintendo 8-bit into a toaster, and he actually puts the 8-bit Nintendo game into the toaster, pushes the button down, and the game actually works in a toaster.
Well, it's just like the Kentucky Fried Chicken console.
8-bit toaster. Now, that's kind of cool because it's a toaster, but it's actually a Nintendo. Like, it actually runs Nintendo games. This is just a toaster that looks like a potato. Like, I guess that's kind of cool to have a toaster that looks like a potato.
I think Krebsy's got the right idea. He says it should have been a fryer so you can cook some potatoes, right? I think they should have went deep on the meme, right? They should have been like, how do we get this Series S to cook potatoes?
Like you should have put it on the circle part, and they make like a noise like it's cooking something. Like makes a sizzle noise when something's on the little circle piece. Right?
Real quick, I gotta put this on the stream. Altern says this is the Xbox that you actually will use. This Xbox Series S you actually will use to actually make toast, for the other one just is collecting dust. Right. Yeah. Sony doesn't embrace the meme. I think they do. Didn't I see something that Sony did one time with or am I mistaken? Hey, potato bread is a thing. That's true. That's true, Intervoid. You could put potato bread inside the toaster, right? Make an air fryer. Yeah, I mean, why not? Just go all in. Just go all in with the meme, right? I don't know. It's just funny. It's funny. All right, the next one. Speaking of funny, maybe you find this funny, maybe you don't. I find it.
What's not funny is the power of the S. That's not funny.
Here's a funny thing. Star Citizen truly outdoes itself with a $48,000 bundle for its most loyal whales. That's right, $48,000. We live in a society where virtual spaceship DLC can cost more than most people's annual salaries. He says, ever since the first warp of the scene of Star Citizen has infamous, so its monetization, the game developer seems never ending, but long before it could play it in any form, Roberts Space Industries would sell you all sorts of space things, like this mine-laying ship that cost over $600 before mine-laying was even a feature in the game. And here's the thing about Star Citizen, though. It devotes are fiercely loyal to Chris Roberts' vision and loudly defend the game's monetization. It's protracted development, and also whenever else the detractors take aim at, the same detractors, meanwhile, just point and laugh at folks who spaff $30,000 on a virtual spaceship. But at this time, Star Citizen has truly outdone itself, with surely it has been the single most expensive DLC in history. Yes, they warned us, and this was the next step after the horse armor. And Roberts Space Industries has delivered Star Citizen, now offers a $48,000 Lactus bundle containing every ship in the game. You hoped so too. Description of the bundle as follows. So you get ahead of the other definite armor equal match of noble tile. I'm not even going to read all this. You compare to over 175 vessels from every manufacturer, note, and perfect collection, including all ships released in the concept through 2953. Empowers every fleet commander for Forge's last legacy, leading humanity towards a brighter future. So Star Citizen has been flogging bundles since 2018, and it's always been notorious for a community of their pricing. And this is the first checking in was a mere $27,000, and now you have one at $48,000. I don't know what to say here, Sarge. I don't know what to say here because.
You know exactly what to say. Star Citizen is the elitist game, just like there is elitist houses and cars. They're for the 1% people that they enjoy. Listen, even though there are 1%ers, there are probably 1%ers who are still gamers, right? So this is for 1%ers who enjoy video games. The $48,000 to them doesn't mean anything.
I get it.
Like we are not in that boat. We're not even on that planet.
Look, I was debating to get a game that has 50 hours of content for $3.49, and I said no.
And you said no, right? And you said no,
right? So, look, I get people want to support the game, right? But there's got to be a point where you look at this dude's asking for $48,000. Are you an investor at that point? No, you're just a consumer getting the game's assets. Like, bro, that's insane, man. $48,000.
It is not insane.
It is insane.
Right? You can get a wallet. You can get a wallet at Walmart for $5, or I can get a Gucci wallet someplace else for $4,800. It's the same principle, right? They decided that they were going to go that route because there was a market. They found out there was a market when they actually did the whole game test at the beginning of the Star Citizen thing to see who would invest. And they got their entire list of people who would want to spend that kind of money. And by the way, the way you were reading that, you get all 175 ships, but let's not forget that when you get those ships, you get the ships. So if one of those ships dies or blows up, that ship is gone.
Yeah, you got to put insurance.
That ship is gone, right? You got to put insurance on that ship, otherwise you lose it. Yeah. It's an entire different ecosystem for someone that's on a different level than we are.
Okay.
Is it crazy? Yes. That article should be like in a magazine that's only sent to those people. We shouldn't even be able to read it.
Here, if you break it down this way, Sarge, if you break it down this way, Each ship only costs $274. I mean, that's better, right?
I mean, that's a deal.
That's a deal.
That
Instead of
sounds
saying
like a deal.
48,000, each ship costs
That's a deal.
$274,000 or $274.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but at the same time,
Kind of crazy.
they found their market. There are some guys out there right now who are like $48,000 for 175 ships. I just got my Bitcoin check. We're good.
Do you think they look at the spreadsheet in front of them and go, okay, we got this many people playing, we got 20% make 80%. Do we think we can get 20% to pay $48,000 because we need an influx of cash coming into this company? And they're like,
yeah,
there's 20% of people.
Yeah, they're not even 20%. There's probably like 25, 30 people lined up, ready to go.
I would like to know what the player count number is on. That's what I would like to know. Star Citizen. I don't know if we can get an accurate player count. Star Citizen player count right now. Daily players 1.21 million. Okay,
do 20% of that.
20 total players 21.31 million. Now I don't know if that's the lifespan of the whole entire game. But right now, daily, and again, I'm taking this from MMO population. I don't know what the accurate of it is. It says daily players 1.21, right? 1.21. So
I would say probably 7,000 people are looking at that.
I think it's more than that.
No, that's a small percent. That's
you think
small
that
percentage. Yeah, about 7,000, 8,000 people are lined up for that. Absolutely.
What did I say? 1.21. Let's say 20%.
Oh, that's not a 20%er. That's not a 20%er. That's a 1%er.
Yeah, hold on.
That's not a,
That's 3, 6. There you go. Okay. That's 242,000 people at 20%. 242,000 people at times 48,000, let's say, right?
I'm not even going by total number.
If 242,000 people paid $48,000 Sarge, I know it's not.
It's not high. It's not that high.
Well, hold on a second. I'm just saying, if
you're using the 80-20 rule against something that's a 1%er. That's not how this works.
I understand that. I'm just saying how this works. It's just for fucking fun. Calm yourself down. 20% of the 1.2 million is $116 trillion.
Yeah.
That's a cash influx there, huh? Yeah, no, it's not going to be 20%. Yeah, even if it's 1%, you're getting 1,000 people to pay $48,000, right? It's still $480,000 that you're getting.
I could use that. I could use the same formula in real life. I could say someone who entertainment expenses that they spend $48,000 without dropping a hand. You have to figure out what the income for someone like that is.
Sure.
And then how many people on the planet actually make that kind of income, and then how many of those kind of people actually play video games. It's 1% at best, 1 to 2.
Right, Lurker. He's all getting all huffy and puffy. It's like, just let me get the fucking joke out. Jesus.
That's not a joke. That's ridiculousness. That's not a joke.
Next,
for digital ships.
I mean, $48,000 is fucking ridiculous. If you're a fan of the game, I mean, by all means, go ahead and spend $48,000. I wonder if that person also is playing on like a really shitty computer, right? They have like the low tier graphics card. They're like, I'm a big fan of Starfield. No, I can't afford my rent, but $48,000 to get all the ships. You know, there's people out there. There's people out there that can't pay their fucking rent, but they just paid $48,000, and their wife's like, "What is this bill? What is this bill here?" Oh, don't worry about it. I just bought ourselves a spaceship.
No,
like, what?
No, the kind of computer that the guy has for spending $48,000 on a digital ship, his computer is running on a V8 engine. It's water cooled. Believe me, the machine he's running is like next to NASA. Believe me.
48,000. That's crazy. You know what? I will never be in that position because I will never ever pay $48,000 for I won't even pay $10 for a battle pass. There's no way in hell I'm paying. No, I know. I will never pay $48,000 for a fake fucking microtransaction inside a video game. It will never happen. Never.
Well, we'll see. You're being very negative on yourself. If you made that kind of money, you would.
No, I would not. No,
yes,
I would.
You would.
No, I would not spend $48,000 on a digital good. I've never even bought a microtransaction in my life.
It doesn't matter, bro. When it's all
What?
relative. If you made enough money where you could afford that, you would get it.
I make enough money where I can afford a $10 battle pass, and I don't do it because I don't buy digital shit.
The level of money that you need to make in order to just spend $48,000 on a piece of entertainment, the numbers you're talking about, you would not care. Believe me.
Look,
You would not
a
care.
scale is scale. I can't afford $48,000, but I can afford $4.80, and I still don't buy it because I don't buy digital shit. I don't do it.
Okay.
Unless I earn digital goods inside the actual game and then spend that currency that they earned for free by playing the actual game, that's going there. I do not buy microtransactions. I don't buy microtransactions.
Okay.
You're telling me if I was a millionaire, you're telling me I would spend $48,000. I'm not a millionaire, and I don't even spend $3.49.
And that's why you're not listening. A millionaire is not in that bracket. A millionaire would not spend $48,000. The person whose income that you're spending $48,000 on digital product, your number for income is tremendous, bro. You're way beyond a million.
Well, bless your
You're way
heart for
beyond
thinking
one.
I'm going to have that much money so I can spend $48,000 on Star Citizenships.
Right. You're talking about multi-million-dollar, hundreds of millions to spend $48,000 like it didn't matter.
I guarantee you, the person that bought, because I've seen them all the time, people that played Diablo Immortal don't have millions of dollars, and they spend $110,000 on fucking microtransactions, and they're broke, and they live, and they literally shit in a bucket, but they paid $110,000 for microtransactions. You're telling me millionaires are playing things? No, millionaires are millionaires because they're actually working. That's why they're millionaires.
Price point is there because someone knows they're going to buy it, bro. They wouldn't just
That's right.
willy-nilly decide on $48,000. They know the number.
Yeah, Elon Musk, he probably bought it. Elon didn't care. His space nerd, he wants to go to Mars, Mike. I mean, whatever, sure.
I'm not disagreeing with you that someone that hit the Powerball last week and decides he wants to spend $48,000 on digital ships is a possibility. But the main people that they're selling that to, your tax bracket is way different than a millionaire.
I wonder how many of those people that are spending $48,000 don't have their Ethernet cable plugged into their computer.
That story I thought was garbage.
Next
Not
story.
Not having your Ethernet connected plugged in was a joke. That's
Next
a joke.
story. Horizon MMO details leaked, including odd PlayStation 5 release detail and name. The Horizon MMO leaked for January 2024 was possibly revealed a few details about the game development. And NC Soft includes a name and odd PlayStation 5 release choice. So Horizon Land and Salvation MMO might miss PlayStation 5 release. The new Horizon MMO leak suggests that the name might be a Land of Salvation, reportedly set for late 2024/early 2025 release. No evidence of the PlayStation 5 release suggests Sony or NC Soft might favor a PC and mobile release. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this important clarity, it's also the leak is about an MMO Horizon game in development from NC Soft, and the MMO entire is separate, or so it seems from the Horizon multiplayer. Now, the game reportedly in development at Guerrilla Games. This is important because a lot of the digging from the leak is being misinterpreted by details about Guerrilla's game, when in fact it's all about the mobile MMO specialist over at NC Soft. So there are plenty of details packed and leaked and also garnered from the public profiles on LinkedIn, but take a pinch of salt regardless. The first important fact of the game is listed in a profile developer with a logo reading Skyline Projects, a domain that has been registered for something called Land of Salvation by NC Soft, suggesting that it could be the name of the project Skyline Horizon MMO. Allegedly, the MMO is being made by the Unreal Engine 5 and also been developing since the 2021. And the last staff check-in was in September 2023 when 140 employees were working on the project Skyline. Apparently, the game is expected around late 2024 or 2025. Now, for old details, the game might be also released on PC on mobile, but not on PlayStation 5. The Sony's platform isn't noted for any of the documentation leaked so far, and that doesn't mean that it isn't coming to the console. It just could be a development after the PC and development mobile version release. Or it could also come into works and development work-specific versions of the game, or port it because of a Guerrilla PlayStation 5. But there's no evidence of such yet. So it says take it with a pinch of salt until the confirmed game, but the leaks look reliable, and it will also be extremely weird of Sony to leave the MMO off the PlayStation 5, in my opinion. So what do you think, Sarge, of this Horizon MMO from NC Soft? NC Soft, we actually have another story conveniently. I'll do it after this one because I didn't know these guys were in doing it. So do you think this is reliable? Do you think this leak is coming out? Do you think the MMO is coming out later this year or early 2025? Or do you think it's going to be a couple years?
I mean, even if I said yes that this game is coming out, this game has no legs to be an MMO. Horizon Zero Dawn does not have legs to be an MMO. You could try. I'm sure maybe it'll last 5-6 months, but I don't think it has the legs to be an MMO.
I think the world, now I haven't played it. I watched people play the game. I never played it myself. I think it's an interesting world that you could make an MMO. I think it's everything that's there could be interesting. But the way I look at it is I believe that it's going to feel more like Ark Survival because of the way the world is with the robotic dinosaurs and stuff like that than you know what I mean? It's going to feel sort of same-ish to that type of game. Now obviously if there's people that are interested in it and they're going to play it, but
Well, here's how you weigh it out, right? So those of you who've played MMOs before, go through it in your head what the mechanics are in the game, what the systems are in the game, the currencies, the armor sets, all the things in the game that make the game worth playing, like why I want to play it. You have an IP, you got a story behind it, whatever else. And now you're thinking of Horizon Zero Dawn and thinking about the mechanics and the systems that are going to be in place for that. Even if the mechanics are the same as the other games that you play, they're on par, same kind of mechanics, same type of like armor sets and weapon sets. The IP itself, I don't think has the legs to keep you in that game rather than you spending that same amount of time in the IPs of the MMOs that you already play, right? Time is always a factor in an MMO. Always,
well, in any
right?
game, not even just
A
MMO.
casual MMO player is got to put some time in order to get anything done. It's not just, hey, another MMO, great. I have time for this one too. Throw it on the shelf. Let's do this. Like, no, right? I'm sure that Sony is looking for other avenues besides Final Fantasy in order to get a subscription service out of their population. I'm sure. Someone in the upper echelons of the office decided that this is the one they were going to put the effort into because Horizon Zero Dawn did so well as a single player game and we all loved it. Great. Granted, yes, it was a good game.
And the sequel.
And the sequel, but to have it go from a single player IP in order to an MMO and try to make that a flagship thing and why you want to have PlayStation now? No. No legs.
Here's another thing.
Legs.
And again, I'm kind of just brainstorming here, but if they come out with an MMO for Horizon, does that cripple the third installment? Do you know what I mean? Because if
no,
those are two single player games, and then all of a sudden you have this world that it's based on, and you're having an MMO, and if it's a really good MMO, people are going to like really dive into that.
But that's what they're counting on. They're counting on the 3 games.
So do you think
one's awesome, 2 is great? The expansion was really good. We're going to make a third one. And then after the third one, you had all that time now to work out the kinks. And now you want to release Horizon Zero Dawn MMO after you release the third game.
Right.
Everyone's hyped about all 3 games. It's great. Have all the games on sale. Have a whole compilation disc or a digital thing with all 3 games on it. Make it a big thing. And then come out with the MMO. I'm sure they're going to set it up perfect in order to get the hype train to follow. But that game as it stands, what it is, it doesn't have the legs to be an MMO.
So Dave... Langer, you say nah because ESO is not going to cripple Elder Scrolls 6. It already has.
Right.
It already has, though. We haven't got an Elder Scrolls 6 because ESO exists. Do you see what I'm saying? Elder Scrolls 6 hasn't been out for 12 years. They haven't made one. Why? Because there's an Elder Scrolls Online game, and they don't need to make an Elder Scrolls 6. So my question goes back to you again. If they make an MMO for Horizon, do you see a third game anytime soon? Or is it just the MMO?
No, the third game first, then the MMO.
This is what I'm saying. If the MMO comes out, does it kill the progression of a third game? Or do they release the third game first and then do an MMO?
Yeah. They'll do one more, then them. If they do it correctly that you want to get the hype up for the game, you do one more game and then you do an MMO if you're going to do it.
Right. Because I think if you put that MMO out and it's successful, well, then you're not getting a Horizon Zero Dawn or a Horizon Third, Forbidden, whatever.
I mean, look, they put. If we're going to go back and forth, try to do a comparison. Bethesda, even though the engine's the same, Bethesda was trying something different when they went for outer space. They wanted to do something different. Now, we get it, right? All they've been doing is fantasy and post-apocalyptic, back and forth, right? The Elder Scrolls series and the Fallout series. They wanted to try something different. I get it. right? You've been working on games now for a long time. You want to try something different. So they put all their eggs in the basket. We're going to do Starfield, and this is how we're going to do Starfield. And they worked out all the like that. To do an IP from scratch takes a lot, man.
Oh, absolutely.
To get people to like it. So if Starfield wasn't there, I still think we wouldn't get an Elder Scrolls 6 game because of the fact
because of Elder, because of ESO.
You're making money on that.
You didn't get Grand Theft Auto 6 anytime soon or DLC because of Grand Theft Auto Online.
Not only did you not get a Grand Theft Auto 6, but you didn't get any other games.
That's
from
what I'm saying.
Rockstar.
You didn't get anything.
They canceled everything because they didn't need to make anything.
That's
because
correct.
The cash register just keeps cha-chinging.
Paul says, you need to start worrying when the dev says they're working on 16 more projects in the Horizon universe. Krebsy says it could release a third game for $60, then a year later release the MMO. That's all I'm saying. I think if they're going to make an MMO, release that third installment before you do the MMO. Because if the MMO comes out, even if it's not by Guerrilla Games and it's by another company, that MMO, if it's successful, you're not getting a third installment. Because if that money, if that MMO is good and it's just pumping in money, they're like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to make the other thing right now.
I mean, we already have the examples that they're not going to make a game if they don't have to. We go through this. We go every couple of months. If they don't need to make a game because another game is already making the money for them, they don't. Right? Rockstar is the perfect example. You never got a bully. You never got anything else. They just stopped everything, and they just decided.
It's also the outlier, though, because it sold 180 million copies. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the biggest piece of entertainment. It's the outlier. It's not the.
Yeah, I understand. I'll say the same thing. I'll be honest with you. Honestly, I truly believe that. I think that the Grand Theft Auto 6 game might be too big. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fun, but I'll put it to you this way: if you don't continuously play Grand Theft Auto 6 and finish the story, and you put it down, it'll be very hard for you to get back into that game. Like, it's just too big. It's going to be too big.
Yeah. No, Paul, right? I know it's a mobile game. We just read the article. I just read it. It's a mobile. But what I'm saying is, if they're making an MMO, do they come out with the MMO before they come out with the third installment, or do they make the third installment and then the MMO? That's the conversation. Keep up.
Man, MMOs are to create an MMO from scratch with an IP. That takes a while, bro. If you thought that Grand Theft Auto, Starfield, and the Elder Scrolls are going to take a long time, like an MMO takes a long time.
I just watched a video on Force Gaming, and he was covering this. I think it's called Quinfall, the MMO that's coming out, and supposedly it's coming out real soon. And it started in 2021. And he's like, I don't think this is going to be a good MMO. He's like, it takes years, and they have not been in the oven long enough to make this. But hey, who knows? With the game engines and stuff that they're using, never know.
I'll be happy to look at it.
So going from NCSoft from that to the next story. The next story is a fan-revived MMO given official license to continue. Now, a community dedicated to fans is keeping City of Heroes alive from NCSoft is happy about it. City of Heroes was a beloved MMORPG that launched in April of 2004 and lasted just over 8 years. In the time, a dedicated community of players who, even after the game died, kept playing the MMO via a private server that existed in a weird legal gray area. But now the developers behind City of Heroes have given our private server official thumbs up to keep on keeping on. So in 2012, the superhero MMO City of Heroes was officially shut down, and a lot of people were upset and sad about it. But not everyone stopped playing. Not everyone stopped playing. In 2019, it became public that the secret, unofficial private server running the game had existed in the years since the game's death. Following the meltdown of the game's community, the folks running the server eventually released the game's code online, and some of the other private servers popped up. But there was always fear, hence that the private server being kept secret for so long that developer NCSoft would one day show up and pull and stop all the stuff. The company owned the original code and the IP. But as of January 4th, which is today, the devs behind the official fan-run Project Homecoming announced that the NCSoft had no plans to kill the most popular City of Heroes private server. Instead, the company did something surprising and provided the devs with the official license to maintain City of Heroes server. In a post published today on the Homecoming forums, the folks behind the private server thanked fans for waiting recently over the last few years after teasing in 2019 that it was in talks with NCSoft about the project. Quote, Homecoming has been granted a license to operate City of Heroes server and further develop the game, subject to condition to limitations under the contract, but has been between us and NCSoft, and NCSoft still owns the City of Heroes intellectual property and derivatives of it, and the devs behind the project explain. Now, the devs confirmed that the accounts and characters are safe and won't be deleted, and they also announced that the new content will continue to be created for Homecoming, that access will remain free, and the project will continue to be funded entirely through fan donations. As part of the new deal, it seems that other private servers might not stick around, and the team hopes players will come to Homecoming and they can centralize the community more. The Homecoming team confirmed that part of the deal requires a single in-house installation and patching solution, and this is why the team spent gaming developing its own launcher. Now, while there are also still plenty of questions and details to work out, the overall reaction to this is mostly positive, and the surprising turn of events is a very rare example of fans being allowed to officially keep a game alive. It also shows that the ways it's presented to keep the MMO going after all this time. So, pretty cool. I mean, NCSoft is giving them... I mean, there's other games out there like Star Wars Galaxies that's still being run, but they don't have the official thing from Sony. You know what I mean? Like, they actually said, yeah, we're giving you the official license so you can continue playing this game and continue supporting this game. That's unheard of.
Well, there's a couple reasons, right? The IP is not popular enough to make money off of, so they're okay letting it go. But the fact that there's such a dedicated fan base of a game that really no one in this chat's really talking about on a weekly basis, but there's a dedicated fan base that loves the game long enough to want to keep it going.
Right.
That's been going on for years. There are specific games throughout the years that there's a dedicated fan base for, that they always keep the game running. This is not the first game. This is just on a list of games now that just keep on going. I think it's great because that's the true gamer.
Right.
That's the true gamers.
They know they're not making any money from it, and they're like, you know what? Why don't we just give these guys? There's still a true fan base out there, but I'm sure the details are. And again, I didn't read anything. I don't know anything.
You can't sell stuff inside the game.
Well, it's donations, right? For donations to keep it up.
Right.
But imagine like all of a sudden City of Heroes gets like a comeback, right? And then all of a sudden like 1 million people playing the game. Does NCSoft all of a sudden go, hey, we're gonna make another one, right?
That depends. That would depend on what the licensing is, and if the licensing fell off, or they didn't renew the license, or if the contract, they say like in the article, they say they gave it to them. Like if it's legally binding that you gave up the trademark, or you gave up the patent for whatever you had to do for the game, and you're okay with it, and it's legal, then yeah, it's yours.
Yeah, I think it's cool, but you never hear stories like this, so.
You hear them. They're few and far between, but you hear them.
Well, mostly you hear the stories
Star Wars Galaxies is still going on.
Sure, but it's their own thing. They're not officially licensed by Sony Entertainment.
No, that's because that whole section of Sony had shut down, and they didn't give a shit. These guys gave them their blessing, which is even better.
Well, but yeah, 5 years after they've been working on it and doing it themselves.
Hey man, so that's the true love of the gaming of gamers in general. Is if a MMO shuts down and they still run it.
I find it
There's
funny.
Still enough people to run it.
Just I think it was yesterday or this morning in my stream, we talked about City of Heroes and said, "Oh man, I wish they made another game where you could." Because we were talking about Suicide Squad, and then make a game where you could make your own superhero character. I was like, "Oh, this was such a good game back in the day," and then all of a sudden, here it is. It's like you put it out in the universe, and all of a sudden, it comes into a story the same exact day, saying that they revived the MMO. I think it's cool.
It was a good game for its time, right?
Yeah, in 2004. Yeah,
back then there was a few games that came out that were all about superheroes. There was City of Heroes, right?
Yeah,
right. The Freedom Force.
Yep,
Freedom Force was out around Freedom Force around the same time, right? The DC game, right?
Yeah, because DC is 12 years old. I'm excited for DC Universe Online. They have they were supposed to have an update. It's supposed to happen in the first quarter of this year, where they're doing the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. They're updating the graphics and whatnot. I'm excited about that, and I'll jump into that once it happens. Let's see here. What other ones that we got here that we can talk about? Oh, you know what? I kind of want to talk about this one. This one's actually pretty neat. Okay, so NES Tetris has finally been beaten after 34 years. Okay,
I watched the video. I watched
the video as well. I posted it in our Discord if people want to watch it. A 13-year-old Tetris player named Blue Sukti has reached a kill screen at level 157 on the classic NES Tetris, making it the historic milestone of the game. The achievement holds great significance for the Tetris community, as there's a moment when he thought reaching the point of it was impossible considering their circumstances, and can argue that the Blue Sucky may have beaten Tetris. Now, the NES Tetris refers to the version of the classic Tetris game released on the Nintendo Entertainment System back in the 1980s. This Tetris version is widely regarded as one of the best ever. This lasting significant of evidence of the competitive community, especially as the classic Tetris World Championships, where players aim for high scores on the original NES versions, and simply yet challenge mechanics of Tetris, have fostered a dedicated competitive scene, prompting players to devise innovative techniques over the years. So, if you guys don't know this, right? So, you got to go watch this video, right? It's like a 13 or 16-minute long video, and basically tells you the history of why and how this Tetris started being so competitive, and the techniques they started making with the roll of the hand they were doing. Because when the game gets to a certain point, okay, it becomes impossible to physically move the pieces. So they had to move faster, left and right, left and right, left and right. So because they had to do that, they had to do the rolling technique as they were hitting the keys.
They had to invent a move in order to move the piece. That had to happen first.
Yeah.
And then people learned how to do that first.
And then they started getting better and better. And what they thought was the end of the game never became the end of the game. And then someone made a code for the AI to figure out what the stuff was. And then people started going further than that. And then this one guy created a spreadsheet and knew when the death count was coming on each of the levels, on each possibilities of all these different things. It's wild, man. It's wild. Yeah. So
that's true gamer nerd.
Yes. So if you like that type of stuff, go check out the video. You can check it out right here. It's called The True Kill Screen. It says, after 34 years, someone finally beat Tetris. And it's just cool. It's just straight up nerd, right? Just straight up. Yeah. If you like this stuff, go check it out.
The technique that they use in order to move the piece, though, is very complex. You have to keep your finger on the controller on a certain, right near the point you want to be, and depending on which way you want to move it, left or right. Right. So you got both fingers on here like this, and then you're rolling your hand underneath the controller like this, right? And every time you're touching the controller with your fingers, you're pushing it up a little bit. So every time you move it, it's like using the max turbo.
Right. Instead of doing this with your thumb, you're rolling the controller into your hand that's just posing there.
Yeah. Right. So it's basically like using the max controller for NES, but you're using it for left and right.
Right.
Right. So they had to master that technique first. Then they had to master getting past the certain level mark. And then a guy started doing a spreadsheet on what line completion on what level caused the game to crash.
Do the kill screen. Yeah.
And he made a spreadsheet, right? Yeah. So if you watch the video, it's incredible. It's like it says like on certain level, if you do a single line
starting at 150 level, or something like that,
yeah, and it goes off because the speed, once you get to that point at level 39 or 40, once you get to that point, the speed doesn't get any faster. So that's how you have to know that you have to get better at moving the piece. It's incredible.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Go watch the video. It's pretty fun.
And when the kid actually does it, you can actually feel the joy. It's actually nice to watch when someone actually is looking to accomplish something in the old school waves.
You know what?
Right, and do it.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play that part, right? Because it's really cool.
You're not that fast, Santos.
All right, hold on. All right, this is the beginning of the video, so you guys.
This is Willis, aka Blue Scooty, setting a new world record for the longest game of NES Tetris by getting the first ever level 157. But something unexpected is about to happen. He just became the first person ever to trigger a game crash, reaching the true kill screen, which is by far the biggest achievement in the 34-year-old history of the Pro Classic Tetris scene. So why is this such a big deal? And can a record like this ever be broken?
And that's where I'll leave it for you. All right, so it's a really interesting little doc that goes over. Like I said, it's 16 minutes long. If you're interested in it, go check it out. I'll leave it in the or hold on one second. I'll leave it in the chat.
To answer both those questions.
So my first one I ever did as far as breaking a game was on the Atari 2600. I played Asteroids, and I played Asteroids to the point where the scoreboard only said 9s across the board, and then it couldn't go anymore, and the game froze.
Right.
Right, and I was playing for a while. Like that's the first time I've ever like played a game and like got the actual crash.
Yeah,
I
because
think I was like maybe
the reason
nine or 10.
the reason it's such a big deal, because back then games didn't really have an end. You had to play the game until the memory ran out inside the actual cartridge or whatever, and the code wasn't there anymore. So the code would just crash the game, and that was the end of the game, right? So now you play a game, you pay $70, you play for 3 minutes, it crashes on you, and that's the win. That's the actual end game. If you can crash a game, which me and Sarge crash every game, we just do it. That's just what we do. Okay, that's the kill stream, and and if you could get kicked back to your dashboard, that's bonus points. Bonus points. That's what happens now.
All right, Dave, don't make me time you out. That's not even funny. We don't even joke about that.
ET, the best 2600 game ever.
Yeah. Creature, if I'm not mistaken, though, the problem with the original Pitfall was it had a countdown. I think it only ran like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So you could only play until the clock ran out and then it stopped. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, because you only had the 3 lives and you had to keep running to the right. That's the one you're talking about, right? You're talking about the 2600 Atari one, right?
76 said, then I win at Fallout 76 3 times every 30 minutes. I'm a That's right. If you're crashed 3 times a night, you're the winner. 76, you're the winner. So Cyberpunk is a win. That's right. That's right. If Cyberpunk at launch was a win. If you crash in the game, kill screen, that's a win. Right. Let's go on to the next story.
That's correct. So, right, if you ran backwards, I forget how long you had to do it though. I think my friend had done it, but I think I've ever done it. You run to the left on Pitfall instead of the right.
Yeah.
And then you lock up the game. I don't remember how long it was.
It's like putting your speedometer backwards on the car.
Yeah, I don't remember how long it was though. Yeah. I think my friend had did it once. The game all glitches out. Yeah.
So I'm not going to read the story, but we at the strike of midnight, Walt Disney World lost the Steamboat Willie and Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse during that time frame, right? Anything during Steamboat Willie is they lost the it went to public domain. Right? As soon as it went to public domain, someone's already making a Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse horror game. They're on it, man. They're like
awesome.
Right? So
yes.
So there's going to be a horror game with Mickey Mouse, as you can tell on the screen. So looking forward to that. I'm not going to read the article because we're running out of time. I'm
gonna have nightmares looking at that. Just that still frame, I'm gonna have nightmares.
The next story is the Finals Battle Pass takes more than 100 hours to finish, and players are arguing that the devs not to make this such a huge time sink in the future. Now, I talked about this earlier on my stream, Sarge, and I'm baffled by companies that come out with the same problems as other companies before them, and this is why I know it's on purpose and not done where they learned it and go, well, that person did it, so we shouldn't do that either. They do it on purpose because they want to know how many people are gonna jump in on it on the very first one, and they can make, because video games is addictive, right? It's addictive as people play. So they're like, well, if it takes 100 hours to do this, let's see how many people complete it, and then they rattle it around and go, okay, let's make it faster or slower or whatever it is. Where if you look at like Halo, if you look at what Fortnite's doing or Call of Duty, right, you could go through the Battle Pass pretty fast now, but those have been out for quite some time, and they've adapted over time. Now, I think the big situation here is with this particular Battle Pass, I'm okay if it takes 100 hours. Just make it where if I buy a Battle Pass, right, like I bought the Battle Pass, okay, with the V-Bucks that I earned inside the game for Fortnite, because I had enough, and I bought after I completed it, right? So I completed the entire Battle Pass, and then I purchased the Battle Pass and got the V-Bucks back, and so on and so forth, right? So as long as you pay for it and it doesn't expire, I'm okay with that. But if you pay for it and then it expires after 12 weeks or whatever and you don't do it, I think that's ridiculous. Actually, no, you know what? It's retarded, okay? It's not ridiculous. It's retarded. Right? So you should be able to purchase it and then finish it whenever you want, instead of what they're doing, 100 hours, and you pay for it and you're like, I don't have enough time to put time into it.
They're testing you.
Correct. Right?
They're testing.
Lurker says this is the Fall Guys Battle Pass. that shall not only play my game. Right. Where you're limiting the people to play your game and your game only because they don't want you. They want to lock you in to what that is. Right. Which makes me wonder. Okay, I played the finals. I enjoyed it. I don't want to do competitive things anymore, right? But does that mean the game gets old really quick, and that's why they put the battle pass in there and kept it slow, so you could stay in the game?
Yes.
Right.
Which
Otherwise, means fundamentally something might be wrong with the longevity of the game.
Otherwise, why have the battle pass?
Right.
Is it just to get your skins? Is that the reason why? Is that how you're gonna convince me? The battle pass is there to keep me from getting the skins.
I mean, they have a lot of people playing the game right now, so they're right. Halo enters the chat. I think Halo's way of doing it is the perfect way, where you buy the battle pass and you can buy the next battle pass and the next battle pass. It doesn't expire, and then is Halo where you pick and choose and then level that up, or is it like as I level up, it's leveling up multiple battle passes? I'm not sure. You got me know in the chat.
What is this thing you were talking about? Maybe it was a couple days ago, but there's a hard drive for the Xbox Series S, or I'm sorry, X. And if you don't get the proper one, it doesn't run it off the hard drive. You have to put it to your own hard drive.
So yeah, we got a Seagate hard drive. I think or Santa got the Seagate for my son, and it's not the Xbox one. It's just a Seagate one that's got like 2 terabytes.
I'm talking about the one that plugs into the back of the Xbox.
Yeah, that's not what he has.
Okay.
He has one that's a Seagate one that plugs into the back of the Xbox, and if it's an XS optimized, it doesn't play it off of that hard drive. But if it's not optimized for the XS, right, like Battlefront's not optimized, it's just
so you have to change it from that spare drive to the main drive.
Correct.
You gotta move it.
You have to move it, right? But it's actually super fast. So as long as you can load the games on, so if you want the games on your hard drive, you can put them on there. It's a fraction of the time. So downloading, just to put it in perspective, a 20 gigabyte game, he downloaded it took about 20 minutes to get on the actual hard drive, right? But then moving it from the hard drive to the Xbox literally took 2 minutes. Like it was super fast. Because once it's on the hard drive and then moving it onto the Xbox, it moves super fast. Because it's
like I've got too many games on there now. I think I'm gonna have to buy the added hard drive for the X.
I have to do the same. I gotta find something where I can do it, because I'm at the point now where I have the games are so large, because like 80, 100, 120 gigs that when you load it, it's a pain in the ass. So I just want to go get another hard drive or whatever. So that's that. Let's see what else we got here. I think. I talked about the $100 thing the other day. Here's one that CES is happening next week, and this just broke earlier tonight, 2 hours ago. It says, get a grip, stay tuned. The MSI looks to unveil a portable PC gaming handheld at CES 2024 with the usual RGB. Now, the MSS posted a video gaming handheld, various social media accounts, and the device is obscure, so its full details are hard to make out. So it says MSI is a consumer electronic brand known for gaming laptops and computers. Today, the tech company posted a video on various social media accounts to show the obscured zoomed-in images of the new device. The post also implies that the MSI will officially be revealing the new product during the CES 2024, which starts on the 9th of January. And while not explicitly stated, it seems that it's pretty clear from the post video and comments that the MSI new device is a gaming handheld. The CES 2024 runs from January 9th through the 12th. This year. So they say it's going to be a competitor for the Steam Deck, but there's so many of these handhelds now that this is just getting absurd. It's getting absurd. There's just so many handhelds.
Yeah, but I besides the Switch, the way that Microsoft is going, I don't even see how the hardware for handhelds is even going to stay in business the next 5 years. Like everyone's trying to get it to be where it's on your phone. Right? On your phone or on a tablet with a controller attached to it. So it's like, so how many more handhelds you guys think you're going to make it and try to sell out before you figure out how I'm going to just cloud everything? I don't understand.
I mean, we were just talking about the $48,000 Starship. So if this is $1,000, there's going to be people that buy it.
Yes, there will be. What I'm saying though is
plenty of people are going to buy it.
The idea is to have a system that I can play my games on any device. So and I pay a fee to do so.
The problem with
Right?
this is Steam, in my opinion, has it locked down, right?
Yeah.
Because not only can you play your Steam games off the Steam Deck with no problems, okay, and then you can also get more games and play it on that as well, okay? All these other companies, you're going to have basically what the Stadia had a problem with, where you're going to have to buy the games over for this system, over that system, and it's like, I already own these games, so if I buy this system, it automatically works. Unless they make a deal with Steam and they're like, yeah, you can still get into your Steam library off of this handheld as well. And maybe they can, but I just feel like it just doesn't make sense. There's just too many. Krebsy says if the market supports it, it shall exist. Sure, but we don't know what the price of it is, and we don't know.
For long.
Right.
Just not for long.
I mean, to say that and say, well, Atari made the Jaguar. That came and went. The Neo Geo came and went. The Sega Dreamcast came and went. The Sega Master System came and went. The CD came and went. Yeah, of course, there's going to be an influx of all these consoles that come out, but there's only going to be a few that survive.
TurboGrafx.
Yeah, TurboGrafx 16, right? Sure, everyone
Neo
can make a
Geo,
console.
The Neo Geo.
And the market can support them for a bit because people test it out and go, this is a piece of shit. And then they're done. And they move on, and then there's a winner. And then that's how you got all the winners that you have. This is why Nintendo succeeded and PlayStation succeeded, right? It's just the same thing over again now with handhelds. That's it. Who's going to have the cloud-based service on the handheld device?
I just don't think handhelds are just going to be like a separate thing. I just think that you're going to be able to play the games on whatever system you have on whatever device you actually have.
Right.
That and that's how they're gonna get you to pay a monthly fee, even if you don't get Game Pass or PS Now. Is the idea will be that you're gonna get to play the game either on this or a tablet or a TV or a laptop, but because you're allowed to play it on all those things, there's a fee, and then that's your monthly fee to be able to do all that. Right?
I just think it's ridiculous with all these handhelds. You got what, like 5 or 6 different handhelds now. If one of these companies makes a deal with Xbox and can play Game Pass, natively on the goddamn thing. I know there's ones out there that do it. I mean, that would be one to get, but you can't do it with PlayStation. You got to get the PlayStation one, or you got to get the now we're going to streaming services, but with handheld devices. Well, if you want to play this game, you got to get this device. And if you want to get this one, you got to get this device. If you want to get this, you get the Switch.
Well, we already know they're trying to get rid of devices. We're trying to do on cloud only. That's the direction we're going. We want digital and cloud only. You get nothing. As long as I have a device in my hand, I don't need to buy a device to play your games. I could just play it on this. That's the whole game.
The problem with the phone, though, is they're not as powerful. I mean, but they're not as powerful, and people would like to have their phone available while they're playing video games, right? Because they're going to play a video game, it drains the battery super fast, and then their phone's dead for the rest of the day, right? And
that's your tablet, and that'll be your tablet. It's smaller than a laptop, bigger than a phone, portable.
Right. Unless this thing comes out and it prices itself correctly and maybe tries to bully the other guys to lower their price. If this is higher, why get this over something else, right? It's just weird. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when it comes out. Let me see one.
To this day, my favorite handheld device with games on it was the Lynx. I know it sounds stupid, but I used to love Rampage. I used to love Rampage on the Lynx. You could hook up with 3 people. You could play the game with 3 characters on the game, just like the arcade, and it was handheld. It was incredible.
Yep, it was good. I like the 2004. I forget. Maybe it was the Lynx. No, the Lynx was it wasn't it. What did PlayStation have in 2004 handheld? I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
The Vita?
Was it the PS Vita?
Vita? Or Game Gear? I think that might be it. Was that Sony, Paul? I forget. The Game Gear, that sounds familiar.
PS Vita is too late.
PSP?
Was it PSP, Krebsy? I think it was PSP.
It might be it. PSP was good. It was good.
Yeah, that's it. PSP, 2004. Yeah. I like the PSP. Yeah, I really like the PSP. I loved playing because I was big in sports games back then, and they had a really good baseball game back then. A lot of the stuff really good on the PSP. And then that was my last handheld. I never got another handheld after that. Game Gear was well, actually, I lied. The last one I bought was a Switch. That's the last mobile game, a handheld, whatever. So, and that's it. All right, we're gonna try something here. Maybe it'll be 2 seconds long, and maybe it'll be whatever. We're gonna open it up to about 20 minutes of questions. If anybody wants to ask a question, we're gonna make it where chat is only going to be members only. Okay, we're gonna make it members only. Everybody else, you're more than welcome to stay here. We're not ending the stream. You can watch. You just won't be able to speak. So we're making it members only right now. Oh, actually, if I make it members, this makes it members only for limited participants for those who are paid members for the channel. Well, I guess that's it then, right? So we're gonna say farewell to anyone that's not a member. If you are a member, you can stay in and have a conversation with us a little bit longer. If you're not a member, well, you can become a member as little as $5. We just did a 2-hour show for everybody, and now we're going to make it members only at the end here. And so if you're not hanging out in the member stream, we'll give you guys a little heads up. We'll see you guys next week on Generation X Gaming, episode 377's in the can. We do appreciate you for coming out. If you'd like to watch us after the fact, you can watch us here at 30NSG.
Thanks for becoming a member.
30NSG. We're here Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also watch the rest of our content here Monday through Wednesday from 10 o'clock in the morning till about noon Eastern. Also the uploads that we do. Also the gameplay that we do at the evenings, Monday through Wednesday. And then we do this podcast Thursday nights for everybody from 8 p.m. to about 10. So we appreciate you very much. You can watch the past episodes over on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Anchor.fm. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right. Now, this should go from turn off subscriber mode to member only mode is on. Now, I think everyone can watch, and I'm new to this. Creature, is that right? Everyone can watch this. It's just members are the only ones that can talk. Or is it only members only that can watch the actual stuff? I forget how that works. This is the first time we're doing it. We're trying something new a little bit, kind of give a little bit more perk to the actual people that are members in our stream. So if you have a question or if you have anything to ask or talk about, you can hit us up here in chat and we'll get back to you. Correct. The Game Pass, people can still see but can't play. Gotcha. Right. So everyone can see, but only the members can chat. So what do you guys think? You guys like some of the stories? What do you guys think about the finals battle pass, right? With the 100 hours of content.
Is finals 3 versus 3 versus 3? Is that what
it is? It's 3 versus 3 versus 3. It's actually pretty fun. It really is pretty fun. I really like the fully destructible environment and whatnot with it, but at the same time, I'm just not. I watched a video recently about like FPSs. Okay, FPSs and how they're just changing the landscape and how they're not what we were in the past. Like we used to like the old Call of Duty, the old Battlefield, SOCOM, all that type of stuff, right? And now it looks like it's changing the landscape where it's going the Apex Legend route, it's going the Tarkov route, where it's going to these like extraction shooters, it's going to these competitive things. The finals does a lot well, but there's also a lot of stuff that's happening with the finals with cheaters. And now with the 100 hours thing, I don't know. I just think respect your players, right? I think the amount of time that you're putting in 100 hours, I think it's just a little too much for a battle pass. I don't know. I don't think the average person that will pay you the whatever it is, $10, they're not going to put 100 hours in because they can't put 100 hours in. And someone said that's like a 1.9 hours a day for the each day for the entire season.
But you see, you're speaking as an adult married with kids. 100-hour battle pass is meant for people who don't have wives, don't have jobs, and they're just playing games. That's why they want those people in there. The people that are actually complaining about a battle pass that's over 100 hours are the people who are married with kids who want to play a game but don't want to spend that much time in the game.
Right. Well,
right? But that battle pass isn't for them.
Well, Krebsy's saying, he says, say the match is 20 minutes. That means you need to play 300 matches to complete. Right? And that's if you're good and you're making enough points to level up faster than somebody else, right? 100-hour battle pass is nothing to little Timmy? Sure.
Exactly.
Sure, I get what that is saying. And Creature, thank you very much for the membership. I appreciate that. Sorry, I didn't thank you when you did it. Another thing I want to talk about, Sarge, and maybe this will get the chat going a little bit, right? I looked up some Starfield achievements, right? And I said this earlier on my stream, but I wanted to talk with you for a second about it. So I looked on my achievement list here for Starfield, right? And I was like, how many people actually played this game that are actually like talking about it and giving the review process, right? There's two major achievements that I want to talk about. Okay, one is called for all into the Starfield, enter space for the first time. Okay, enter space for the first time, and on Xbox and on Game Pass, the achievement is at 72.21% of gamers unlock this. Okay, meaning 28% on PC Game Pass and Xbox did not even fly into space. Okay, did not even fly into space. That's a lot of people, millions of people that didn't even get in the ship to go into space to even continue. Okay, so you would assume that those people probably didn't give bad reviews because they didn't play long enough to give a review, right? On Steam, that same achievement is at 89.1%. Let me bring this up on stream. Right? It's at 89.1%, which is 72% on Xbox, 89% on PC. And that means more people are playing on PC, or at least people that are playing on PC are more completionists than the people that are not playing on PC. Another one I want to talk about is called Dust Off, which this one is reach level 5. Okay, Xbox is 44.46% of gamers got to level 5. Okay, that means 56% of the people did not get to level 5. Now, on PC, 74.4% people made it to level 5, and 36% didn't make it, or 26% didn't make it to level 5. That's insane. That's millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
Okay, that did not get to the end game or play even the main story. Yet there's people out there that are like, this game sucks, it's whatever. And it's like, how long did you play? Because based on these two achievements of leaving the planet to go into space, okay, and then also getting to level 5, that's a big chunk of people that did not play the game.
I mean, they played the game enough to know that they didn't want to play it anymore. Right?
They logged in.
That's the story.
They logged in and they didn't even get into a ship. They didn't even get into their ship.
Right.
Chat. I just think a lot of people are saying they played the game and they didn't. Right? The stats are saying that a lot of people didn't play the game. Thanks for becoming a member. Dupless, thank you very much for the membership.
It is the Game Pass effect. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Game Pass effect.
Every time I look at these statistics of the achievements and trying to compare how many people play the game, how many people actually do the achievement, it creates such a void in the conversation about how good a game is, and people think it sucks or doesn't suck. Like people don't even play the game. You didn't even make it to level 5. Like level 5 was like the first 3 missions.
Sure.
3 or 4 missions. You just do the mission and you go up a level. Like the first 5 levels is nothing. If over half the people never made it to level 5, it's like you just played the game like, that's good, I'm done. It's crazy.
Yeah, it to me, well, I get what you're saying, Dave, right? It's a catch-22. Some people who ask you who plays Starfield 100 hours and not like the game. No, I get it. What I'm saying is, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how many people just get on the bandwagon and say the game sucks without actually playing the game, right? Just because I downloaded the game and turned it on and walked 10 steps, I can't say I played the game, it's fucking boring and I'm done, right? They didn't even get into space, which is part of the tutorial, if I'm not mistaken, right? Part of the tutorial where you get in the ship and you go into space.
It's not exactly the tutorial.
But you're in there within the first half hour. Come on.
Okay, but no. They have to mean after you get. They have to mean
it's after the tutorial. You make a character. You play the first mission. You get in the ship with Barrett, and then you go up in space.
Right, but they can't count that. They have to mean like go into space after. They have to.
No,
they have to.
No, it's literally get into space. You get the achievement. I got day 1 like the first hour.
That means they never even finished the tutorial.
That's what I'm saying.
That's madness, dude. Madness.
The 5 is a little longer, right? You're in there for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to level 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm remembering now that the tutorial is you have to get into the ship with Barrett. That's it. You're in the ship. Does that count? Is that when it is?
Go up to space. You have to get into the ship to go to space. Yes.
They were in a cave. They left the cave, had one battle, and said, "I'm done with this."
Just fucking boring. I'm done. Which is fine. But you can leave a review. That person can leave a review. Right? They played the game. You download the game from Game Pass, you can leave a review, right? I just think it's hilarious that you look at that and go, they didn't even get into the ship.
Okay, but when do you get that achievement? Do you get that achievement when you're in with the Barrett, or
I would
actually get on the ship? When you actually get on the ship yourself?
I would have to. Here's the problem. I don't have my achievement that pop up on screen, okay? But I'm pretty sure the first mission that you get out of the cave, you talk to the Asian lady, you talk to Barrett, they call you captain, you get on the ship, boom, achievement. You went to space.
I'm pretty sure.
Hot take, Creature says, I don't think you should be able to review a game if you're on Game Pass. All I'm saying is a lot of people say they don't like the game. But statistically, right? So here, what stat was this again? First space for the first time, 89%. On Steam, okay? On Steam, what's 11% of 13 million? 1.4 million. 1.4 million people never made it to space. Okay? This is amazing to me. And be like, this game's going to be awesome. You get in there, you're like, I'm good.
I'm in a cave, a shut bunch of pirates. It's crap. I'm out.
Super slow, right? Maybe they got to change the front of the game because maybe it was so boring that people 1.4 million didn't even get on the ship. Okay? Now, the dust off one on PC is 74%. So that's 26% of people that didn't get to level 5, right? So what is 26% of 13 million? 3.3 million. Now, I know that 13 million people didn't play it on Steam. I don't know how many people played it, so we're just trying to figure it out. An average, if you cut it in half, let's just say 1.5 million people didn't get to level 5. And then 1.5 million didn't get to... But then when you go to the Xbox, this number is astronomical. 44%. That's 54% of the population of 13 million. Okay, that didn't get... So if 13 million people played, right, we're talking about 7 million people that didn't get to level 5. So how many of those people actually left a review? And actually was like, this game sucks, it's boring. Like, they didn't get to level 5. Can you take that credibility as I mean, everyone can review, right? Which is fine. But at the end of the day, the only review that matters based on what the company looks at is Metacritic. Because that's where they get their bonuses from.
It's just those numbers. Yeah, but you're that's 13 million between PlayStation
between
and Xbox,
both.
Not
Yes,
13,
yes.
Not. So if we said half,
sure, 4 million people on Steam and 4 million people on Xbox didn't go to level 5.
Never got to level 5. Right, but this is why I talked to you earlier, and I said, right, there are more people playing games. Okay, there are more people playing games. And the population of gamers has gone up, but not at the same rate that people who play games are.
Right.
Like what I'm saying is, yes, there are more people who play video games today, right? It's a good medium. But the nerd people like us who play like games for like, we've been playing for years, like we play video games. We do all the crazy stuff, the speed runs and the breaking the game and mods and all kinds of stuff that we do to these games. Like, our population has gone up a little bit over time because more people are playing games, but the number of people who play games is so large that you get these wide swaths of people that play a game for 5 minutes and like, fuck it, I'm done.
Right.
Like, that's it.
I just think
that's normal. That's normal.
I think a lot of people are just jumping on. I'm not saying there's not bad reviews and people don't like the game. I'm just saying a lot of people didn't even get into space, and a lot of people didn't even get to level 5. Okay. And those people left reviews. And I'm sure, maybe that's 2 hours too long for them. But there's so many more people that didn't leave a review. I said this before. There's 104,000 or 108,000 reviews left between Steam and on Xbox. Okay. Which is less than 1% of the total players that tried it, bought it, played it, whatever. Less than 1%. So does it really matter if those people didn't like the game, right? And then my next part of this is everyone's like, my video that I made off of Bueller when he was talking about it's washed up, it's done, fundamentally it's broke, right? Which is my video is the most downvoted video that I have on my channel, which I laugh at because I guarantee you, majority of those people didn't even watch the video because they also didn't play the game, right? They didn't even finish the video. They just saw that I was talking something and commenting on Bueller, and they decided to downvote me because they're fans of him or whatnot, right? But the issue is that the game's not washed up, man. As much as people want to blow this up as out of proportion, that the game sucks and it's bad, right? This game is going to last years, right? This is a flagship game for Game Pass, and there have 250 people still on the game that are supporting it, and they said every 6 weeks they're going to be coming out with content and whatnot, right? So what delusion world are we living in that there are people like, this game done, it's never coming back? And in the same breath, they say Cyberpunk is the best live service game or ongoing game, and it's fixed 3 years later. Makes no sense. Dave says, it was a poor sap who paid $90 for Starfield, and I didn't like it, but I forced myself to finish the game because I paid $90 for it. But here's the thing. Why did you pay for it? Why did you pay for it? If you weren't sure you were going to like the game, why did you pay for it when no time in history did you have the option to never pay for a game and play it, and this was it, and you still went out and bought it? I'm confused by that because you could have tried it before you played it, before you bought it. And if you liked it, you could have paid it for afterwards. Some of the modders are quitting Starfield. Yeah, but Dave, here's the thing, right? The modders that became modders for Skyrim or Fallout, they did it for passion. They did it for passion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they didn't
and
get paid.
maybe they were just an accountant before because they loved the game so much they actually started learning to mod, and they became really good modders for Skyrim, for Fallout, or whatever. If the modder just leaves the game because he doesn't like Starfield, there's going to be someone that pops up that's going to be a modder that exceeds and becomes popular, just like that modder that became popular, making mods for Fallout or Skyrim became popular. So if a popular modder leaves the game, okay, that's like someone announcing they're leaving Twitter. I love people when they do that. I'm leaving Twitter. Okay, see you later, right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. See you later, right? If the modder leaves Starfield, there'll be another person that does modding for Starfield, and they will become the modder that's known to making good mods for Starfield. That's it. That's what happens. 2077 as a live service never made sense to me. I love Phantom Liberty. I have no problems with Cyberpunk. I have problems with CD Projekt Red. Oh, I thought I was going to love it because I thought it was going to be the No Man's Sky, or No Man's Skyrim. I wanted to play early, and yes, I was dumb. I should have waited. But you could have paid for early access and not given them $90. You could have paid $30 for the DLC and got the 5 days early access, and then you could have returned it, right? Or you just waited the 5 extra days and paid $10, $11, and play it, and then if you liked it, then you could have bought it. Creature says, some reason I would have bought it. I do not support Game Pass existing. Krebsy says, I want to know if Starfield gets some of its criticism, its fan base. It said that the game is generation for months leading up to the release, saying it means that the game has higher bars to hit. But that's expectations. That's on the player, not Bethesda, right? If someone says the game of a generation and they think it's the best game ever created and then it falls short, that's on the player, not the developer. I knew what it was. Thousands of other people knew what it was. Everyone's like, it's just a Bethesda game. Uh-huh. Yeah. What gave it away? That Bethesda was making it? Like, everyone's like, well, the engine's outdated. You couldn't tell it was outdated from the videos that you watched the 45 minutes before you bought the game? I'm confused. I really am. I'm confused.
They still tweaked it though. It's better than it was. It's still tweaked out, but it is what it is. It's the Gamebryo engine.
Krebsy says this is why Outlaws does the same thing as Starfield with loading screens and such. It won't be criticized. It's because it's not game of generation. It's not gonna get criticized because that game's coming on all platforms, and Starfield's on Xbox. And this is not the Xbox tax. I'm just saying that's why I think Starfield's getting most of the hate, because the bigger population that wanted to play Starfield can't play Starfield. And I'm not saying their reviews. I'm just saying the total social media aspect of people saying it's bad and whatnot. That's why it's bad as it is. PlayStation 5 and PC, usually Xbox too, but not this gen. So, Paul Gaming says Starfield has over 6.5 thousand mods and 33 million downloads. Don't believe the headlines. That's what I'm saying, Paul. Right? That's what I'm saying. Everyone's blowing this out of proportion, and it kills them that this is happening.
The worst part of the stance on the whole Starfield thing, and that's why it makes me laugh all the time. The worst thing about it, of all the hate, is the fact that you didn't have to buy it.
You didn't have to buy it. You
Right,
rented it for $10 for 1 month, or
Like,
$17 for 1 month.
That part, and the way that they keep talking about it, they're talking about it as if that it released and didn't sell anything, and it's trash. And I understand you want to say it's trash on certain levels. I see it. I see what you guys are saying, but at the same time, it's the only AAA. I said this before the game came out. I said that this game was going to set a precedent that was going to be unprecedented, because it's never happened before where you had a company release a first-party title day and date on Game Pass and didn't have to buy it.
Right.
Right? It's never happened before, ever.
I mean, we don't know the game sales, right? We know officially that it sold like 3 million copies. That's across the board of Xbox and Steam that we know.
But that's the pillow that stops the head from hitting the wall, you see, right? Because if Starfield had sold 3 million games, the publicity in the game journalist section would read, Starfield flops, doesn't sell, underperforms. That would be the title for 6 months. Right? But because the Game Pass pillow is there, and Microsoft paid them the money to be on Game Pass, which is still insane to me because they're part of Microsoft now.
Right.
So they're paid. They basically paid themselves to have a game to flop in order for it to be as a first-party title on Game Pass. Right? That's the actual story. The story is the game. If I go by numbers, if I go by the actual numbers and credibility of like why a game is successful or not, I don't think Starfield sold enough copies to be profitable. In the eyes of the game. I don't think it did.
I think it did. 100%. Otherwise, they wouldn't have 250 people still in the studio working on content.
That's not true. Those promises were made beforehand. That's a contract that was made before. Those 250
the DLC
people
was ahead beforehand.
I'm telling you, the only reason why the publicity is the way it is because of the way this falls. Because of Game Pass, they can't publicize that the game was a loss. Right? If the game I'll give you benefit of the doubt. If the game only sold 5 million copies, that's barely making it.
But here's the thing, it doesn't need. Here's the problem that we have right now with what Xbox is doing with Game Pass and traditional media, right? In the past, you had to sell the game. Make a game, sell the game. With Game Pass, first-party titles, they want their games to continue on after the day it comes out. People are going to buy it, so they make those sales. Everybody else, they want to make Game Pass. And how do they keep them coming to Game Pass? Well, they're supporting it every 6 weeks. They're going to fail on this, by the way. Okay, every 6 weeks they're gonna come out with something.
6 weeks
supposedly.
is too tight.
Okay, but look at what Fallout 76. Everyone thinks that Fallout 76 is a dead game and doesn't make money. They found their population. Correct. And they're making plenty of money, and they're making different expansions. They're coming out with a new map, right? If no one was playing the game, they would be making a new map. Okay. So they looked at what Fallout 76 was doing, right? And they said people keep coming back month after month. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's 30,000 people, doesn't matter if it's 15,000 people. It's people that are spending money inside the game, and they're making enough money from those people. Starfield is a new IP that just came out. Okay,
Yep.
It's not Skyrim, it's not Fallout. Skyrim is fantasy. Fallout is post-apocalyptic, also fantasy, right? And then this one is sci-fi. Okay, if you're not a sci-fi fan, you're not a post-apocalyptic fan, maybe you're a fantasy fan. If you're a fantasy fan, maybe you're a post-apocalyptic fan, but maybe you're not a sci-fi fan. This game is meant to be a long-term investment to come to, right? It's not meant to be, came out in September, that's it, wrap it up, boys, we're closing up shop. No, they're keeping 250 people there because this game is, it doesn't say live service, but that's a fuck what it is. It's a live service game. Okay.
Yep.
DLCs that you're going to pay for, free content that's coming in nonstop every 6 weeks, potentially. Okay. And that's what I don't understand. People are like, well, it didn't sell enough copies. It didn't sell enough copies. They don't care. It's about Game Pass.
Yeah, but you're missing the point from what I'm saying. What was the price tag on Bethesda? What was the price tag?
$7.2 billion.
Okay. So hear me out, right? Microsoft purchases Bethesda for $7.2 billion. Right? They're already in the middle. They're in the middle of them making Starfield. Right? When they get purchased. It's in the tail end of them making Starfield. They just received $7.2 billion. Now you're part of Microsoft.
Yep.
Right? Now you're part of Microsoft. So now the gears start turning. So now if I'm getting money up front for being on Game Pass, am I paying myself? Or does the money I already paid for the company part of that expenses for the making of the game, which is, I think, what it is. Nobody cares about how much they got money up front at all, if at all, for being on Game Pass. They just got $7.2 billion for being part of Microsoft.
Yeah, they didn't get money up front to be on Game Pass. They're owned by the company. They just put on Game Pass.
That's right. Yeah. That's correct. They were bought. Now they're in part of Microsoft. So now we're going to call Bethesda and Microsoft the same people. So we're going to just say Microsoft.
That's what they are. Yep.
Right. So Microsoft now acquired Bethesda for $7.2 billion. Bethesda has $7.2 billion to cover the cost of whatever they've done,
they're done.
all the way up until
they're good.
Done.
Yeah, they're
right?
good.
So Starfield at that point is a complete wash, as in paid and done.
That's correct.
Right? You got $7.2 billion. We're good.
Yep.
Right? Now, I'm part of Microsoft, and now my job is to keep people coming back in order for them to play this game because it's on Game Pass.
Correct.
That's why you have 250 people working on it, because now they don't care, right? They're not worried about Starfield sales. The sales are done.
Yeah, they don't care.
We got all the money we ever needed. For the next 6 games, we already made the money. Does anybody else follow me on this one? I understand it's a little complicated, but it doesn't matter what Starfield sold at all, right? They're done. They paid.
Lurker says $7.2 billion was for the name. They have to pay even dollar moving forward. No works for free because last year they paid money. I need today's check. Yeah, but they already paid, right? So before Microsoft even picked up the check, okay, Bethesda is already budgeted that and paid their developers, right? So if it took 5 years, 6 years, 7 years development, every year they have a salary. Every year those people are getting paid.
Labor, every day.
Nobody that's a developer is getting paid because how many did we sell? Can I eat this week? No, they already had the money and they pay the employees.
Yes.
Right? And now
the
developer's like, all right, we're taking our chunk back. What do we got here? Where are we moving it? What are we doing with it?
Yeah. But now they're part of Microsoft. Right? Now their check comes from Microsoft. It doesn't come from them selling video games. So now they have to invest their time into something that's going to generate money for Microsoft. Right? That's why they have 250 people working on DLCs or whatever else they have to work on, because they need to see now how much money they can make from that game still being on there. That's the game now.
Langer says Bethesda may not care how many copies Starfield sold, but Microsoft should care about. No, Stop thinking that Microsoft cares about physical copies sold. That's
No.
That's the old business model. Their business model is Game Pass. The extra icing on the cake is people buying the content. The extra 3 million copies, 4 million copies of the 13 million copies. 13 million people played the game. That's 13 million people. Let's take 4 million away from it, right? Hell, let's take 5 million away from it, right? That's 8 million people that are paying Game Pass for that month to try the game out, okay? And then maybe stay on Game Pass to play other games or other games that are coming out. Maybe they're playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's coming out this month, or maybe they're playing Hell Let Loose, or maybe they're playing whatever they're playing. They're trying to get people, is this the game that you want? Is this the game that you want? You want this game? Great, Game Pass, right? And they're like, okay, I'm going to get Game Pass. If not, they're like people in chat where they bought the game up front, $90, $100, $120, $150, extra day, 5 days, extra days, DLC. Those people are a small percentage that make the extra money for them, right? I didn't pay for it. I paid $0 for it, but someone paid $100, right? So it balances out. The average is $60, $70 per person, and now it's on Game Pass. And those people leave Game Pass or they stay, but their method is Game Pass. That's their mentality. Okay? Every person that's buying a $70 game is not coming on Game Pass, right? They want you to come to Game Pass. So how do they keep you coming to Game Pass? Well, you paid $70 for the Starfield game, but now they have a new DLC. Now you got to pay extra $30 for that DLC. If you don't want to pay $30 for the DLC, you can just rent it on Game Pass. Right? That's the mentality. That's what they want you to do. They want you on Game Pass. Microsoft's plan is subs. Look at 365, Game Pass, about to do it with Windows. Yeah, that's right. How does Microsoft make money? You pay a licensing fee to use Word, right, to Microsoft Office. It's a subscription model. That's how Microsoft has made its $1 trillion. I don't understand why people don't see what they're doing with the video game space. They're doing the exact same thing that they did with the software, only now with video games. 7.2 billion has gone to the shareholders, same as the 69 billion for Activision Blizzard shareholders. Yeah, they're gone.
It does not go to the shareholders.
It goes to everybody.
It does not go to the shareholders. It's not how it works. That's not how that works. Right? Just because you bought a company doesn't mean it goes to the shareholders. It's not how that works. Right? The money's not even that money's not even given in a chunk. It's given in
over
installments.
years. Yeah,
installments. Yeah. Right? It does not go to the shareholders. Shareholders get paid, if they're lucky, the dividend paid from the stock every quarter, right? And that's based on profits that the company makes, not because you got paid for your company being bought out, right? If a company goes out of business, right? If a company's going out of business and they're selling it, they break down the entire company. The company's worth 110 million. Then they divide that by the number of shares there are, and then the price of the shares adjusted for that number, and now that's the price of the company divided amongst the shares. And at that point, as a shareholder, if you sell your shares, you get that money. But you're not getting $7.2 billion into the shareholders. That is not how that works.
You don't get that instantaneously up front. No.
Yeah,
it's over time. So I just find it funny, and obviously we'll always talk about it because people keep talking about it. And someone said it today on Twitter. Starfield won instead of the Game Awards because it won an award for most innovation, and people are losing their shit for it. They're like, "How was this innovated?" Right? I don't care about the reward myself, but someone said that the only award that Starfield should be getting is how many people it's making go crazy on the internet. Because every time someone brings up Starfield, people lose their shit.
So let me ask you a question. How awesome is Spider-Man that no one's talking about it?
I mean, it's just a single-player game. It is awesome. They played it, and they moved on.
That's right. Thank you. They played it, and they moved on.
That's correct. They played the single-player game, and they moved on.
So that's okay then, right?
Yeah. It's okay for everybody except Starfield.
Right? Well, because Starfield's not a single-player game, bro. Starfield's a game as a service game that's not advertised as a game as a service that didn't do well when it released. Right. And now they're waiting for DLC. Right? That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah, it's a single player game. I don't know why this single player game is being held differently than any other single player game.
Because it's not a single player game, it's a live service game.
Technically, it's a single player game though, right? You play the story, you beat the story, you put down the game, and then when DLC comes out or something that you're interested, you go back and play the game.
I mean, so does that mean that Fallout 3 was a live service game because we waited for the DLCs that came out afterwards? Like,
I don't think DLC is
Broken Steel and the rest of those DLCs that came out. Like, that's the same thing, right?
That's paid. I don't consider that live service. live service is literally every Monday they update the game and they fix things and they constantly do
Yeah.
stuff,
Well, but yeah, all right.
right? Where DLC is like Borderlands 2, where they just keep coming out with DLC 2 months, 3 months, whatever, and you have four per year, and it's DLC. You pay $20 because if I play a live service game, most of that content's on there regardless if I bought it or not, right? It's just there. You bought the base game, and then all the updates are on that as well. Where if it's a DLC, if I buy Borderlands, the base game, and then DLCs come out, I can't play that content unless I buy the Game of the Year edition or I buy each individual DLC.
Yeah, I don't respect live service games. I don't respect drip content. If a game is good, single player, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, now you call it live service gas game. You make a DLC, you sell the DLC. That's it, right?
Right. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, Creature, I think the Starfield will be fine. People like to talk about it good and bad because it pulls console warrior clicks. It's free money. Sure.
Yep.
Sure. I just find it funny because I'll bring up, Metacritic, because that's the only one that really matters. The people's reviews don't really matter, and Metacritic doesn't matter to me. It matters to the associations and the people that make the games, because that's how they get their bonuses. If it hits a certain, Metacritic score, they get their bonuses and whatnot. I don't know if it's all games, but certain games.
The fact that you tie bonuses to Metacritic scores is absurd.
Well, it is what it is, right? So what I'm saying is, if someone tells me that Cyberpunk is the best game ever and it's an 86, and then Starfield's also an 86, but it's the worst game ever, I don't know what scale you're going with.
No, what I'm saying is just outright ridiculous is to base your bonuses for your employees on a Metacritic score. Now, if you want to base it on sales, 100% agreed.
Yeah.
You base it on sales. You get to a certain sales number, that's fine. But the fact that people are basing their bonuses on Metacritic scores, how does that not stop anybody that they're paying off to give you guys good scores or not to tank you? Right?
Right.
Oh, you just missed it by a point. Everyone's going to get an extra 10 grand if we get to 8.5. Oh, 8.4. You guys were so close.
Right.
Like that to me is nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense.
Lurker says, for a game to be live service, it has to suck so bad it takes years to fix. That's why Cyberpunk gets an award for live service. You said it's a games of service, right? Dolphin says, I agree. You said it was a game. Yeah, you said it was a games of service. Ongoing game, right? Ongoing game. Oh, right. Ongoing game, not a games of service. Dolphin says, I agree. I'm going to buy Suicide Squad to kill the Justice League, but that's because I already played it. Yeah, I played the demo, right? So I get to decide. I like the demo, so I'm going to put money towards the actual full game. Feature says, I think the talking Metacritic scores seriously has run its course. Sure, but the review scores on any site, to me, doesn't matter, Creature. And so much so that less than 1% of reviews, and even the people that read the reviews, here's another thing I'm confused about, okay? Because more reviews came out after Christmas, okay, of Starfield. And I was thinking to myself, do these people care about leaving reviews? Like, they just left a review, right? They just left a review about Starfield because they played it. But did they read the reviews before they bought the game? Because if they did, they probably wouldn't buy the game, right? Because it was mostly negative, and yet they went out and bought the game or got the game, then played the game, and then left a review of the game. But if they really cared about reviews, they would have read the reviews, and they wouldn't have bought the game because they care about reviews. And my whole point is, nobody cares about reviews, hence why less than 1% of the people, of the 13 million people that tried it, played it, bought it, whatever, left a review. It makes no sense to me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, like, you care a little bit. You care a little bit.
If you like a game and someone says the game sucks, but you like that game, are you going to have that person stop you from buying the game, or are you going to buy the game regardless?
But that's the Creature. That was the original way that they did it, though, right? Like, there were people on staff, right? And this is the part that always bothered me. There were people on staff. You're a gaming journalist, right? You assign your guys, they as part of their job, they go out and buy the game, right? They buy the game. It's part of their job, and they get reimbursed from the company. They buy the game and they play the game, right? None of this. oh, we didn't get a test copy, or we didn't get
now
a
it's
free
given to 'em.
copy.
Yeah.
Right? I can't review it because I wasn't given a game. Like, that's not your job. Your job is to buy the game and play it, right? And then you get your money back from the company after you do the review. It's part of the review process, right? Yes, that's right. So this whole other thing that's happening now, where I didn't get my free copy, is nonsense, right? They want free copies. No one wants to buy the game, and no one gets to play it, and then they get to write a review about it. Like, I don't. The process is broken. Right? It's broken and corrupted, where you don't get an objectivity in the actual people who play the game anymore. Right? And by the way, at the beginning of your article, it should say somewhere what the criteria is for your company. Like, if you're Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or whatever company is doing the review, what is your criteria? You guys just say, yeah, 7.5. Like, what's the criteria? Like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Are you looking at based off of current gen systems, based off the older game, based on the sequel, the prequel? Like, what are you looking for, and what are you scoring on that makes me want to believe anything that you say? But there's no credibility now at all. And it's corrupted. So what am I supposed to believe? And then on top of all that nonsense, you tell me that the bonuses for the employees are attached to a Metacritic score?
Right.
Like, that's a joke, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, that's the biggest joke of all, right? Something that's corrupted, there's no system to it.
Well,
there's
right.
no rules to it, and my bonus is based off of it.
And
that makes sense.
And if you look at some
Makes
games on
sense.
Metacritic, the criteria for the critic people, it might be reviewed by 5 people. It might be reviewed by 105 people, right? So it's like that could sway the score big time based on the people's opinions and stuff. Because you don't look at the user score. The user score is an extra score just to kind of look at the other critic score. Because the critic score is where they get the bonuses and stuff. It's not the user score on Metacritic. It's the critic score on Metacritic. That's the standard.
But see, here's the problem. If there's a critic score and there's a user score, then that means the critic has to be going by a certain standard of rules for it to be a critic score. Otherwise,
Right.
any guy who's playing the game is a user, right? Anybody who plays the game is a user score. If you're saying there's a critic score, that means you guys are doing a different set of rules or different set of circumstance that you're basing the numbers on the game on. Otherwise, there wouldn't be 2 separate scores, right? You're a user. I bought the game. I'm playing the game. I wrote a review. Yeah, you're a user. Oh, well, actually, I'm a critic. Okay, you're a critic. By what means are you judging this game by? And are all critics judging it by the same? Because if they're not, then how is one score different than the other? I don't know what you guys are talking about. What's the comparison about? Right. Once again, definitions of words matter.
Creature says, I put together a whole plan on how to make a standardized review plan, Sarge. He says, reached out to major creators, had my costs all totaled around $200,000, and no one would touch it with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, there you go.
That's because anybody can talk shit about any game. And as long as I get 3 million people behind me, I guess my number's good. Right? It's disgusting at this point. Right?
Yeah, this is why I say no one cares about reviews, because
they're not credible.
Exactly. They're not credible. And then where you think it's credible, then it all just becomes subjective, right? Because if you like a game, you like a game. If you don't like a game, you don't like a game. And that's just it. So if someone likes the game and you hate the game, you're going to be like, person's full of shit. The game sucks, right? And if the person that you don't like says it's a sucky game, you're like, whatever. What does he know? It's an awesome game, right? So it doesn't really matter anymore.
There are certain people, certain streamers who do reviews of games. Properly.
Yeah, ACG is one of them.
They go through and they explain to you what they're looking at and why it's good or bad, and they give you reasons.
Yes.
Right? That's a proper way to critique a game. But if you're going to critique that way, that means the standards that you're using, you need to use for every game that you review. You don't change you don't change the variables of what you're looking at inside the game based on a different game, right? If I'm looking at frame rate, then frame rate's across every game. If I'm looking at playability, then it's across every game. Not because it's a fighting game or a shooting game, now something changes. Those things are still factored in.
Right, and if you're reviewing a game, you shouldn't review that game based off another game. You should review the game for what the game is, and that's it.
But you have to base it off of something.
No. What I'm saying is like, if another superhero game came out, and Batman Arkham is the best superhero game to come out, don't base that game off of that game. You just review the game for what it is. It's a superhero game. Review the superhero game for what the superhero game is. Don't go, well, the fighting in this game is not as good as that. No, just review the game. How is the fighting? The fighting in this game is pretty decent, blah, blah. Don't compare it to something else. Just tell me how the game plays and how it feels. Don't tell me, well, it's not as good as Batman, right? Because just tell me, is it good? Is it a good fighting game? I can see with my eyes what it is.
Are the frame rates smooth? Is there glitching? There's not glitching.
Right. Just tell me how the game works.
Right. Yeah. Dolphin, I'd like to see that plan. Send me that plan. I'd like to look at that plan.
Dolphin says, I just want to tell me what I'm about to play. Don't tell me your opinions. Right. Just be. The gameplay is this. This is how the gameplay feels. This is it. I give it a
smooth.
I give it
smooth.
8 out of 10. Right. The audio of this is pretty good. The actors are decent. I give it a 6 out of 10. Whatever. Right. Overall, I think this game is pretty good, and I would buy it. Right. That's what you do.
All we're saying, Paul, is you're allowed to have opinions, but if your reviews are based on opinions and how you feel about the game, then you're a user. You're not a critic.
You're not a critic,
right? If you're going to show me two things on the screen and one says user score and one says critic score, we're just saying that unless you go by some kind of standards, you're all in the user category.
Correct.
Right? That's what we're saying.
Yeah. A critic, Siskel and Ebert, were the best movie reviewers. Okay, because they were non-biased. They just told you what the movie was, right? And then it became all different when other reviewers came in for movies, and they tell you their opinion, which is fine. But a critic is supposed to just give you a generic what it is, how it is, what it's doing, and then if you like it, you might want to. If you like horror films, this is what it is. If you like this action film, this is what it is. They don't go, well, the action sequences in this movie are not as good as in Terminator 2 or Fast and Furious. It's like, no. Don't start swaying people, because if a person didn't like that movie, then they're going to think, well, it's just like that movie. That's not what you're supposed to do as a critic. As a critic, you're supposed to be non-biased. You're supposed to give information about the thing, and that person's supposed to decide themselves if they like it or not. Now, they can still decide, but not be swayed, right? There's a difference between swaying someone on their personal opinion and basically a non-biased opinion. Take, I should say. I watch Lono every single day for opinion. Sure. But what I'm saying is, just if it's an official critic, if you're an IGN or if you're someone, you just report what it is. Don't give your opinion. It's supposed to be a critic, not a user. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it. This extra, we have like 53 minutes over. So we'll try to do some more of the member-only streams. I do appreciate you guys hanging out a little longer with us tonight. It's the first show of the year. If you like it, leave it in the comment section down below. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member as little as $5. We'll be back on Monday. I was going to do a stream tonight, but I don't feel like doing a stream tonight. So we'll continue Starfield on Monday, or Lord of the Rings, because I want to try to get through Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria. But other than that, I do appreciate it very much, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
They're two brothers and gamers that have been playing games since the early 1980s. Combined, they have over 65 years experience. Join them each week as they discuss and rant about gaming and entertainment news. This is Generation X Gaming.